Chapter 756, Spirit Concentration Pill. 2. The underworld crystals in the heaven and earth creation cauldron were being refined continuously. Although the other medicinal liquids were slowly solidifying, it was much better than the beginning. When Li Lingtian saw this, he quickly cast a 9-sun sacred flame to balance the earth's core fire and reduce the power of the flames. At the same time, more flames were moved to the center of the heaven-earth creation cauldron. Chi-chi shi-shi chi-chi. From time to time, sizzling sounds could be heard from the cauldron as the underworld crystals were being refined. 2 hours later, the underworld crystal had completely turned into a medicinal liquid. The heaven and earth creation cauldron descended, and the medicinal liquid of the underworld crystal immediately fused with all the other medicinal liquids. Li Lingtian had already expected that the Shenong cauldron would turn upside down. When the Yin underworld crystal and the medicinal liquid fused, he had already cast a few spells and used his true essence to suppress the pill cauldron. At the same time, he took out a Xian crystal with his soul consciousness. This mystic crystal was many times more powerful than the supreme spiritual stones. Moreover, this mystic crystal carried a trace of mysterious divine qi. Li Lingtian did not have many mystic crystals in his possession. Every single one of them was an extinct treasure in the world. This time, he had to use one Xian crystal to refine the spirit concentration pill. After the mystic crystal entered the Shenong cauldron, Li Lingtian had learned from his experience with the Umbra crystal. Now, he had a way to separate the heaven and earth creation cauldron when he refined the mystic crystal. He had to use the heaven and earth creation cauldron to refine the mystic crystal. Otherwise, when he refined the mystic crystal later, all the medicinal liquid would be wasted. Boom! 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 However, what he did not expect was that after the mystic crystal entered the heaven and earth creation cauldron, it would explode with a shocking change. It was tens of thousands of times more powerful than the nether crystal. The sky trembled continuously, and the Shenong cauldron also trembled. Suppress. The expression on Li Lingtian's face changed when he saw this. Then, he let out a light shout and used his terrifying true essence and pressure to suppress the pill cauldron in case he could not control it. However, the terrifying divine qi of the mystic crystal burst out at this moment. Even if Li Lingtian had the mysterious divine qi in his body, he was no match for the power of the mystic crystal's outburst at this moment. Pfft! He spat out a mouthful of blood, which entered the cauldron. Something strange happened. When the blood entered the Shenong cauldron, the medicinal liquid inside began to spin rapidly. The mystic crystal also received the blood and began to absorb it. As the Xian crystal absorbed the blood, the 9-sun sacred flame quickly refined it. The result was beyond Li Lingtian's imagination. He did not expect such an accident to happen. If not for this accident, he really would not have known to go to the sect to stop the Shenong cauldron from trembling. The mystic crystal contained a shocking divine qi. Li Lingtian also had divine qi in his body. Furthermore, there were a few godheads in his dantian. Naturally, there was divine qi in his blood. When the divine qi met the divine qi inside the Xian crystal, the two were connected. At this moment, the mystic crystal began to be refined and gradually formed a medicinal liquid. In just a few moments, the mystic crystal was refined. This speed was much faster than refining medicinal herbs that had been refined for 100,000 years. However, the space was trembling violently. Countless array formations trembled and shattered at this moment, as if the world was about to be destroyed. Fuse. Let's go. Li Lingtian shouted softly. His face was filled with confidence and a hint of solemnity. As soon as he finished speaking, a spell was cast using a mysterious technique. Immediately, all the medicinal liquids quickly fused together. Boom! Kacha! Just as the medicinal liquid was fusing, the dozens of arrays in the sky were destroyed in an instant. Only a dozen or so spirit-gathering arrays were not destroyed because they did not have the slightest sealing effect. They only absorbed the spiritual energy in the air. The earth core flame began to sway. With Li Lingtian at the center, a terrifying divine qi was emitted continuously. Li Lingshan's body was also emitting a mysterious divine qi which merged with the medicinal liquid. At the same time, the aura of the Umbra crystal and the mystic crystal was connected to Li Lingtian. The Shenong cauldron was also spinning continuously. In the sky, a strange and magical scene appeared. Streams of colorful spirit qi formed an independent aura field and Li Lingtian became the master of this aura field. He waved his hands and cast spells one after another. At the same time, countless spiritual qi entered the Shenong cauldron. Spirit Gathering Array, activate. The endless spiritual qi seemed to be huge, but it was not enough to be used. Li Lingtian flicked his finger and a stream of finger force shot into the distance. Instantly, the Spirit Gathering Array was activated, and a shocking amount of spirit qi surged from all directions of the imperial palace. The spirit qi absorbed by the dozen spirit gathering formations finally satisfied the needs of the Shenong cauldron. Li Lingtian was nourished by the endless spirit qi and his quintessential essence was quickly restored. The shocking fluctuation of spiritual energy attracted the attention of countless experts. Even when Li Lingtian was refining pills, he only absorbed spirit qi from the depths of the sky. The surrounding spirit qi did not have much of an impact. But now, the spiritual energy fluctuations in Liberty's sacred city were too great. Countless experts naturally sensed the fluctuation of spiritual energy, and all of them revealed puzzled expressions. At the same time, they sensed the movement of the spiritual qi and sensed that the spiritual qi was surging towards the imperial palace. They were extremely curious and did not know why. At this moment, all the experts were completely shocked. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded in the imperial palace. At the same time, a five-colored mysterious spiritual energy pillar soared into the sky. The appearance of the five-colored spiritual energy pillar stunned all the experts. This is... What's going on? It can't be a spirit infusion. The spirit injecting assault only uses a single type of spirit qi. Now, it's a five-colored spirit qi. Could it really be a spirit-imbued assault? Could it be that young Master D is refining super pills? What terrifying spiritual energy! It's thousands of times more powerful than the previous spirit infusion. Could it be that young Master is refining a Tier 8 spirit concentration pill? Some time ago, young Master obtained the spirit concentration pill formula. Could it be that he's refining it now? All of a sudden, the experts in the entire Liberty Sacred City were discussing animatedly as they looked at the void in horror. In the void, the colorful spiritual energy pillar had not stopped. It was still shuttling up endlessly. This height had already exceeded the scope of the divine sense of an expert. The divine sense was suppressed by the endless pressure in the sky, but this spiritual qi directly shattered the void and bombarded the 9 heavens. Tang Qingyue and the others were also looking at the spiritual pillar in the palace. Their faces were filled with excitement and shock, but they were also filled with happiness. Boom! Deep in the void, after a long time, a terrifying muffled sound erupted. After the muffled sound, a halo appeared in the depths. There were no clouds for 10,000 miles, but it was all colored. The color of the void turned this world into a colorful world. At this moment, Liberty's sacred city was a perfect world. This scene stunned all the citizens. A shocking amount of spiritual energy surged down from the void along the spiritual energy pillar. However, this spiritual energy carried a mysterious aura. It was not just spiritual energy. No one knew exactly what it was. Li Lingtian was the only one who knew that the spirit qi was immortal spirit qi and it had a mysterious aura about it. Although the divine qi was very rare, he was sure that there was a trace of divine qi inside. The immortal qi and divine qi were enough to refine the spirit concentration pill. The strange and mysterious spirit qi entered the array formation. Li Ling Tian and the elixir cauldron spun continuously while the medicinal liquid in the elixir cauldron was connected to Li Ling Tian. Li Ling Tian and the Shenong cauldron began to absorb the mysterious immortal qi. After half an hour, the spiritual energy pillar in the air finally disappeared. But in the imperial palace, the immortal spiritual energy was extremely dense. The entire imperial palace was filled with immortal spiritual energy. When Huangfu Yuyan and the others saw this drifting immortal spiritual energy, they hurriedly sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. This was a rare opportunity. If they missed it, it would be very difficult to find it again. Immortal qi had endless benefits for martial artists. It had heaven-defying benefits for the improvement of cultivation and breakthroughs. The world fell silent. However, countless experts still did not calm down. They continued to discuss. This was because the pills refined by Li Ling Tian might have surpassed level 7. Even if it did not exceed level 7, the terrifying degree of the spiritual energy was thousands of times more terrifying than before. Li Ling Tian watched as the spirit qi pillar disappeared and the true essence in his body was completely restored. Moreover, there was a trace of opportunity in his body, an opportunity to break through, but he did not dare to break through now. He was not confident of breaking through. He had to refine the pill and use the power of the pill and that trace of opportunity to break through. Inside the Shenong cauldron, a mysterious divine qi was floating. The medicinal liquid was constantly absorbing this mysterious divine qi. The spiritual energy was exhausted. The second spirit infusion was about to begin. Boom! Another shocking five-colored spiritual qi soared into the sky. The explosion sounded like a battle between martial saints. This time, the spiritual energy was twice as large as the previous one. It was as if the world was connected by this spiritual energy pillar. Boom! 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 7 consecutive spirit-infused shockwaves, each one twice as powerful as the previous one. Towards the end, the entire palace was filled with mysterious spiritual energy. In Liberty Holy City, billions of warriors were looking at the void with excitement. This was because they were all looking forward to the next attack. As long as the next attack appeared, it would be the 8th attack. The 8 spirit-imbued strikes signified that Li Ling Tian was refining a grade 8 pill. Grade 8 pills were the exclusive rights of a level 8 divine alchemist. Even if Li Ling Tian failed to refine the pill, he was still a level 8 divine alchemist. This was because an alchemist who achieved 8 spirit-imbued strikes was already a level 8 divine alchemist. In the Xian continent, the most powerful saint alchemist was only a level 8 saint alchemist, and he had only refined a cauldron of level 8 pills. If Li Ling Tian were to become a level 8 divine alchemist, it would be a grand event for the entire Xian continent and it would shake the entire Xian continent. Chapter 757, Grade 8 Spirit Concentration Pill, 1. In this way, Li Lingshan's status would be supreme. At least not many people were foolish enough to provoke Li Ling Tian. The Xiaoyao dynasty was one of a kind with a level 8 divine alchemist like Li Ling Tian. Not to mention the Black Continent, even in the entire divine martial continent, there was only one level 8 divine alchemist. After the 7th spirit infusion attack, the sky became quiet. Li Ling Tian was also looking at the Shenong cauldron seriously. His divine perception was observing the changes in the medicinal liquid. After 7 spirit injections, the medicinal liquid had basically solidified and the pill was about to be formed. At this moment, he began to hesitate whether or not he should use the pill tribulation lightning essence. If this medicinal pill could attract a pill tribulation and cause the medicinal pili to mutate, then the power and effect of this medicinal pill would reach an unimaginable level. However, what he had to worry about now was that if he used the pill tribulation thunder essence, it would cause an accident and cause the pill refinement to fail. At that time, he would cry to death. "I'm going all out." Li Lingtian was deep in thought as he controlled the Shenong cauldron with his divine consciousness while stirring the medicinal liquid in the cauldron with a magic art. After thinking for a long time, his eyes revealed a resolute look. He immediately decided that since he had already reached this step, even if he failed, the pill refinement this time would be considered a success. He would continue next time. Isn't success and failure only half? After making up his mind, his face regained its confident expression. A strong self-confidence made him even more mysterious and ethereal. With a flick of his divine sense, the pill tribulation lightning essence appeared in front of him. After the pill tribulation lightning essence appeared, it immediately floated in the air in front of him. At this moment, the surrounding spiritual energy also rapidly weakened. He then used a hand seal to activate the spirit infusion attack. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded in the palace. The appearance of this sound immediately made countless martial artists cheer. This spirit-imbued impact was the eighth. The appearance of the eighth spirit-imbued impact meant that Li Lingtian had already proven his Tao as a level 8 divine alchemist. A shocking pillar of spiritual energy soared into the sky, and the spiritual energy rushed straight into the 9 heavens. Above the 9 heavens, the halo of spiritual energy exploded. Endless mysterious spiritual energy surged down along the spiritual energy pillar and finally entered the imperial palace. The eighth spirit-imbued assault. It's really the 8th spirit infusion. A Tier 8 medicinal pill is about to be born. Young Master D is refining a Tier 8 pill. He's about to become a Tier 8 pill saint. Young Master D's alchemy skills have reached a height that people can only look up to. This pill Tao cultivation is pulling more and more distance away from alchemists. This will be the witness of a miracle in the Black Continent. I will personally witness the birth of a level 8 alchemy saint. D. Looking at the spiritual energy pillar in the void, all the citizens and experts cheered and discussed. At that moment, Li Lingtian was known as a level 8 divine alchemist in Liberty's sacred city. Countless alchemists looked up at the sky with sincere expressions. Li Lingtian was a god that they could never compare to in alchemy. Li Lingshan's alchemy Tao would never be something they could compare to. No one would ever dare to compare to him. However, to everyone's surprise, something unexpected happened. Boom! Boom! Rumble! Crackle! Kacha, kacha! In the air, there were bursts of explosions and thunder. Endless purple lightning arcs crisscrossed in the air. The originally cloudless colorful world turned into a time of lightning in an instant. The endless colorful world and the endless lightning world fused together, just like the end of the world. The appearance of the lightning stunned everyone. However, he immediately thought of something. Not only was his face not shocked, but it was even more excited. Pill tribulation. The pill tribulation has appeared. The first time young Master D refined an 8th grade medicinal pill, he triggered a pill tribulation. The pill tribulation has really appeared. There's hope for the Tier 8 medicinal pill to mutate. Countless experts cheered when they saw the lightning and thunder in the sky. They knew that the appearance of the lightning at this time was the arrival of the pill tribulation. It was Li Lingshan's first time refining a Tier 8 pill and he was a Tier 8 divine alchemist. Yet, he was faced with a pill tribulation. Wasn't this too heaven-defying? While he was in a state of shock and excitement, Li Lingshan's expression was grave. Because after the pill tribulation was triggered, the Shenong cauldron was constantly bombarded by lightning. This pill tribulation was the pill tribulation of an 8th grade medicinal pill. Its power was countless times stronger than that of a 7th grade medicinal pill. More importantly, balls of light appeared in the middle of the Shenong cauldron. Li Lingtian was well aware that the halos were the divine qi. All the rare immortal spirit qi and divine qi had been gathered together. If he was not careful at this time, the medicinal pill could be scrapped at any time. While controlling the Shenong cauldron, he bombarded the sky with lightning and allowed endless five-colored spiritual energy to enter the Shenong cauldron. One after another, he pointed his magic arts into the Shenong cauldron, and the magic arts triggered the mysterious divine qi in the air. The congealing spirit pill was to condense mysterious divine qi into the medicinal pill to achieve the supreme power of the medicinal pill to attack the realm of a warrior. In the past, the pills he refined were all ordinary pills that increased his cultivation. At most, it was a 7th-grade Great Recovery pill, but he had never come into contact with divine qi. The Grade 8 Spirit Concentration pill that he was refining now had already come into contact with divine qi. Moreover, this Spirit Concentration pill was the most mysterious and powerful existence among the Tier 8 medicinal pills. Refining it was even more difficult. Endless pill tribulation lightning and five-colored spiritual energy converged at this moment. Li Lingshan's eyes flashed with determination as a trace of blood essence slid into the cauldron. Qi as the blood essence was injected into the Shenong cauldron, it began to churn. The medicinal liquid completely solidified, forming powerful medicinal pills. In his divine sense, the 36 five-colored pills were emitting a faint halo. It was a mysterious halo, and there were traces of patterns on it. These were the characteristics of the mutated pills. Li Lingtian smiled when he saw these pills because he had refined them himself. Every single one of them had cost him endless effort, and now he had finally succeeded. However, even though he had succeeded now, he did not relax at all. This was the critical moment to improve the quality of the medicinal pill. There was also the pill tribulation and spiritual qi in the air. If he was not careful, the successful medicinal pill would also be destroyed. Boom! As the last thunderclap fell, the world finally quieted down. The pillar of spiritual energy also slowly disappeared, surging into the palace like a galaxy. Seeing this, countless martial artists looked in the direction of the palace in anticipation. It was all in the past. Whether the pill was successful or not would depend on Li Lingshan's announcement. The spiritual energy in the palace was getting denser and denser. Tang Qingyue and the others were cultivating at this time, receiving the tempering of the immortal spiritual energy. After being tempered by the immortal spiritual energy, his cultivation level increased rapidly. Li Lingtian could feel the change in Tang Qingyue and the rest's cultivation base. Excitement was written all over his face. Even if he failed to refine the pill, it was worth it this time. This was because Tang Qingyue and the others had already reached the 9th level of the Supreme Realm and were only one step away from the Martial Emperor realm. From the looks of it, this spiritual energy was enough for them to advance to the Martial Supreme Realm. Qingling's cultivation had also reached the peak of the 3rd heaven of the Martial Emperor realm. Realizing this, he no longer paid attention to Huangfu Yuyan and the others. He began to pay attention to the changes in the pills in his Shenong cauldron. The 5-colored halos on the 36 pills grew stronger and stronger. In the end, the halo grew even stronger. When it reached its limit, Li Lingshan's hands were constantly waving as a series of magic arts appeared before him. The spell formed a net. Then, with a tap of his hand, the net entered the Shenong cauldron. With a slight sound, all 36 pills were sealed. All their power and effects were sealed. After being sealed, the power of the pills would not be lost. Pill formed. Li Lingtian shouted softly and a mysterious light shadow shot out from the Shenong cauldron. The light shadow kept spinning in the air, absorbing the spiritual qi in the air and dancing happily. It carried a dense spirituality. The medicinal pill already had its own spirituality. This would only appear when the medicinal pill reached an extreme. Moreover, in order to use this medicinal pill, the seal on the medicinal pill had to be undone, and then a connection had to be established with the medicinal pill. Only after a long time could the shocking power of the medicinal pill be unleashed. The pills danced freely in the air while Li Lingtian hovered in the air. All the pills revolved around Li Lingtian. Just like a group of adorable children, Li Lingtian's heart was suddenly filled with a sense of kindness. These pills were personally crafted by him and he had put in all his effort. Half an hour later, Li Lingtian's expression changed. Then, he quickly put the pills into 36 jade bottles. Due to his cultivation base at the 9th level of the Martial Emperor realm, the opportunity had arrived. The opportunity that he had been waiting for a long time had finally arrived at this moment. If he missed this opportunity, he did not know when he would encounter it again. With a flick of his consciousness, all the jade bottles entered the divine dragon ring, leaving only one jade bottle. He sat cross-legged and opened the jade bottle with his divine sense. The pill inside the jade bottle floated in the air. The array on this pill was created, so there was naturally no need to crack it. He used it directly and looked at the pill seriously. He pondered for a while. You were forged by me. It's up to you to become a martial saint. Li Lingtian spoke softly as if he was talking to the coagulate spirit pill. He then tossed the pill into his mouth. The pill quickly entered his dantian, but it did not turn into a medicinal liquid immediately. Instead, it needed to be slowly refined. The main reason was that this pill carried a mysterious divine qi. The congealing spirit pill gathered endless mysterious power. Only by obtaining this power could one break through to become a martial saint expert. Gradually, Li Lingtian entered a state of clarity and forgot everything around him. Everything in the outside world had nothing to do with him. His world was the magical world between the 9th heaven Martial Emperor realm and the Martial Saint realm. As long as he broke through this world, he could become a Martial Saint powerhouse. Chapter 758, Startling Auspicious Cloud, 1. The realm of a martial saint was a hurdle on the path of cultivation. All warriors believed that there were 9 realms in the divine martial continent. However, there were only 4 realms in the divine martial continent. The 5 realms of warrior, warrior spirit, warrior king, martial grandmaster, and martial emperor were a major realm and the most basic levels of warriors. This was because cultivating these levels would only increase one's strength by a little. It was a completely different world when one reached the Supreme Realm and Martial Emperor Realm. Otherwise, this small realm would not have gone from level 9 to level 9. Revered martial artists and martial sovereigns had already come into contact with some powerful divine arts, which were far from what experts below the Martial Emperor Realm could compare to. Therefore, the Supreme Realm and the Supreme Realm were the second realm. The 2 realms were completely different from the other realms. In these 2 realms, the cultivation and strength were not much different. There was no difference between heaven and earth. However, when one reached the peak of the 9th level Martial Emperor realm, it would be extremely difficult to become a martial saint. After all, the Martial Saint realm was the 3rd major realm. Compared to the Martial Supreme realm, the difference between the 2 was like heaven and earth. Moreover, in order to become a martial saint, all kinds of instincts in the body had to be sublimated. The true essence had to be sublimated, and so did the aura and temperament. In other words, he had to be reborn. Li Lingtian had already reached the 9th firmament Martial Emperor realm. In the eyes of the powerhouses, Li Lingtian was still in the 2nd realm. Only those who had reached the 3rd stage of the Martial Saint realm would be considered as a true powerhouse. As for the martial god, Li Lingtian had encountered a few of them, but he would never be able to come into contact with this martial god at this point in time. One couldn't aim too high on the path of cultivation. He didn't dare to aim too high either, because doing so would forever dull his state of mind at the bottom. In his heart, Li Lingtian recalled all the opportunities and tribulations in his life. From his previous life to this life, he had gone from an unknown martial apprentice to the current 9th firmament Martial Emperor realm, becoming a super powerhouse in the Azure continent, the Green continent, and the Serenity Continent. His state of mind became calmer and calmer until it finally reached a state where there were no ripples in an ancient well. He didn't know how much time had passed before he opened his eyes. His eyes flashed with a bright light. His divine sense swept through his body and discovered that the spirit concentration pill in his body had completely transformed into a halo. This halo stood proudly in his dantian. It formed an independent world with the other true essence, and there was no friction between them. Moreover, this halo carried a shocking divine qi. Although it was only a wisp of divine qi, it was enough. The halo flickered with divine qi, like a dazzling sun shining on the sea area. The sea area was his current vital essence, and the five-colored golden core was constantly rotating, defending its own world. However, the few heaven-defying treasures in his dantian completely ignored all of this. They each absorbed true essence and trained themselves. It was as if everything outside had nothing to do with them. When Li Lingtian saw this, a smile appeared on his face. His divine sense moved, and he mobilized the halo to bombard the sea area. The halo had divine qi. It was on a different level from the quintessential essence in the first place. Now that Li Lingtian had forcefully suppressed it, the divine qi immediately dispersed into the quintessential essence. Boom! Li Lingshan's awareness exploded and he almost fainted. In his dantian, it was as if a destructive attack had landed in the sea, and his true essence surged. The golden core also began to tremble and spin continuously. He did not know that the moment his spirit concentration pill entered his true essence, the outside world seemed to have turned upside down at the same time as the explosion in his sea of consciousness. Countless powerhouses were waiting for Li Lingshan's announcement. However, after waiting for a long time, Li Lingtian still did not appear. They began to suspect that Li Lingtian had failed to refine the Tier 8 pill. They felt a tinge of regret because Li Lingtian was now a level 8 divine alchemist. Furthermore, he had triggered a pill tribulation while refining a level 8 pill. Such an achievement was unparalleled in the mystic continent. However, after failing, these experts still felt some regret. All the powerhouses and citizens were still waiting for Li Lingtian to announce his failure or success. Similarly, Huangfu Yuyan and the others were also waiting. They had already broken through the martial honored realm and reached the martial emperor realm. Their cultivation had soared by a large margin. They were waiting for Li Lingshan's announcement, but none of them dared to approach Li Lingshan's place for fear of disturbing him. What awaited them was not Li Lingshan's announcement of success or failure but a deafening explosion. Rumble. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. The space shook. This explosion came from between heaven and earth and pressed down from all directions, as if it wanted to explode this space. Moreover, in the sky, auspicious clouds began to gather. This wonderful and beautiful world immediately attracted all the martial artists. What a beautiful cloud! This is an auspicious cloud, an auspicious cloud. It's an auspicious cloud that only appears when a martial emperor breaks through to a martial saint. That's not right. The chances of a martial monarch realm expert meeting auspicious clouds when he breaks through to the martial saint realm are 1 in 10,000. Moreover, those auspicious clouds are very small. There have never been so many auspicious clouds. Could it be that a martial saint has broken through to a martial god? Impossible. Our Liberty Holy City doesn't have a 9th heavenly layer martial saint. It's impossible for anyone to break through to the martial god realm. Just now, young Master Dis pill refinement triggered the pill tribulation. Now, this situation has occurred. Could it be that young Master D is breaking through? That's impossible. Young Master D is only at the 9th level of the martial emperor realm. Even if he breaks through, there's not a 1 in 10,000 chance of encountering auspicious clouds. Moreover, even if young Master D encounters auspicious clouds, it's impossible for him to have so many auspicious clouds. This pressure and auspicious clouds are definitely not simple. Could it be that Big Brother Ling Tian is breaking through? That's right, it's Big Brother Ling Tian who's breaking through. Young Master is breaking through. Looking at the 5-colored auspicious clouds in the sky, all the martial artists cried out in surprise. Immediately, discussions broke out in Liberty Sacred City. They were all extremely shocked by this strange omen because a few experts knew that they would encounter auspicious clouds when they broke through to the martial saint realm. However, there were too many auspicious clouds, which made countless experts puzzled and curious. Xianyuan Yingying and the others looked at the changes in the sky and sensed the changes in their bodies. This feeling was due to the fact that both he and Li Lingtian possessed the 5 elements sacred body. Although Tang Qingyue and the rest could sense it a little, it was not as strong as Xianyuan Yingying's. Xianyuan Yingying's face lit up with excitement when she realized this. She quickly found a quiet spot to sit cross-legged and meditate as she did not dare to disturb Li Lingtian. Even though she could follow Li Lingshan's cultivation breakthrough, her every move at this critical moment would also affect Li Lingtian. Fortunately, she had done so. Otherwise, Li Lingtian would have failed at that moment. After all, Li Lingtian had now formed an independent world. The slightest influence from the outside world would cause him to fail his breakthrough. This was a blessing in disguise. The auspicious clouds in the sky were originally only a few miles wide, but gradually, more and more auspicious clouds appeared. In just a moment, the entire sky was filled with endless auspicious clouds. Li Lingshan's eyes remained tightly shut as he scanned his surroundings with his divine perception. His entire body had entered a state of independence, and his divine sense was inspecting his dantian. All of his energy was focused on his divine qi, genuine vitality, and golden core. Boom! Boom! Inside his dantian, the true essence was like a raging sea that was constantly surging. The halo of divine qi shuttled back and forth inside, but it could not fuse together. No matter how hard Li Lingtian tried to suppress it, the halo of true essence and divine energy could not merge. In the Sea of Zhenyuan, the halo of divine qi and the golden core were like a 5-colored sun rising from the east. They formed a magical and beautiful scene. However, this scene made Li Lingtian feel miserable. It seemed that the constant turbulence in his dantian did not affect him much, but his entire body was constantly enduring destruction. His sea of consciousness was shaken, and his dantian was in turmoil. This pain was something that outsiders could never describe. Blood trickled down the corner of Li Lingshan's mouth as his face turned pale. Rumble. At this moment, a blue arc of lightning appeared in the sky. Not only did the blue arc of lightning distort in the air, but the space also distorted. At the same time, the blue electric arc that was originally only the size of a finger instantly turned into the size of a bucket. The electric arc was like a giant python that bombarded down from the void. The power of the dive directly pierced through the void. Wherever the electric arc passed, the air was destroyed. The electric arc struck toward the imperial palace. At that moment, all the powerhouses had a rough idea that it was Li Lingtian who was breaking through. This was because the spot where the electric arc struck was exactly where Li Lingtian had started refining pills. However, the powerhouses were extremely shocked because the auspicious cloud at this moment was countless times stronger than when the martial god powerhouses were breaking through. The two of them were on completely different levels. Li Lingtian was only a martial supreme, but the auspicious cloud he triggered during his breakthrough was even stronger than the one when a martial saint broke through to the martial god realm. No one knew what this concept was. Li Lingshan's eyes were filled with despair when he felt the threat of destruction. The cultivation of a powerhouse was already against the will of the heavens. Now that Li Lingtian was about to become a martial saint, it was even more so. This was because he was only in his 20s, but he had a lifespan of 500 to 600 years. This was heaven-defying, but he did not suffer the wrath of heaven. Since he had no chance to be punished by the heavens had decided to punish Li Lingtian together with all the heavenly punishments for breaking through at this moment. To go against the heavens was to go against the heavens. If you go against the heavens will destroy you. This punishment is the heavenly tribulation. Every expert had to accept the heavenly tribulation. The strength of the heavenly tribulation depended on the cultivation and strength of the expert. The experts who could withstand the heavenly tribulation were even stronger. If they could not withstand the heavenly tribulation, they would just wait to dissipate into thin air. The heavenly tribulation had finally descended upon Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian's lips curled into a bitter smile as he watched the destructive heavenly tribulation descend. Chapter 759, Destruction. Heavenly Tribulation. Although they knew about the existence of the heavenly tribulation in advance, they did not expect it to really appear. It was just that he never expected this heavenly tribulation to be even stronger than he had imagined. For ordinary experts, the heavenly tribulation basically had a 50% chance of passing. This was because the heavenly tribulation was not as powerful as destruction. However, the heavenly tribulation that he was seeing now was clearly destruction and revenge. He cursed in his heart. Was this heavenly tribulation going to let him live? However, at this time, there was no longer any chance to hesitate. They could only watch helplessly as the lightning bolts of the heavenly tribulation bombarded down. True Dragon Protection. Li Lingtian roared as he unleashed the terrifying True Dragon Body Barrier. The heavenly tribulation could not be blocked with treasures. The more treasures one used to block it, the more the heavenly tribulation would descend, and the power would also multiply. This was because the heavenly tribulation tested the cultivation of the strong. The strong became stronger, and the weak were destroyed. If he used a treasure, that would be cheating. He used the True Dragon Body Protection and used his heaven-defying physique to resist the bombardment of the heavenly tribulation. Crackling. A strange sizzling sound was heard as the electric arcs struck Li Lingtian's body. Instantly, Li Lingtian's entire body was no different from the legendary state of being electrocuted. His hair shot up into the sky and his face was charred black. He looked like he had been struck by lightning. Blood flowed out of the corner of his mouth, and he looked extremely miserable. At the same time, his mind began to tremble. The attack just now was devastating even though Li Lingtian's physique was strong enough to ignore a martial emperor's attack. However, the power of this electric arc was the most destructive attack. It directly broke through his defense and hit his body ruthlessly. His entire body was blasted to the ground. The first heavenly tribulation was finally resolved like this. The sky was temporarily quiet, and more auspicious clouds appeared. The world was silent, giving people an endless oppressive atmosphere. At this moment, the entire Liberty Sacred City was silent, afraid to break this moment of silence. However, every expert's face and eyes were filled with shock. As long as one was a martial arts grandmaster, they would know that this was the legendary heavenly tribulation. It was a heavenly tribulation that one must encounter when trying to become a martial saint at the 9th level of the martial emperor realm. Only by triggering the heavenly tribulation would one truly have a chance to become a martial saint. This heavenly tribulation was also the only way to become a martial saint. After the first heavenly tribulation had passed, Li Lingtian quickly used his divine consciousness and true essence to suppress the divine qi, fearing that something might happen to the divine qi at this time. However, divine qi was the key to the heaven and earth heavenly tribulation. Unable to suppress it, Li Lingtian gradually gave up. He would not allow his mind to be affected in the slightest. The sky became quieter, and more auspicious clouds appeared. However, the feeling he gave off was getting more and more oppressive. Like the prelude to a storm, all the martial artists looked at the sky. They were waiting for the second heavenly tribulation in the sky to descend. There were a total of 9 heavenly tribulations. 9 heavenly tribulations were the most basic knowledge of martial artists. As long as a martial artist broke through, there would be 9 heavenly tribulations. Now that the first heavenly tribulation had already descended, the second heavenly tribulation was about to descend. They did not understand why this was happening. Why were the auspicious clouds and the heavenly tribulation so terrifying? Ordinary heavenly tribulations were nothing more than this at the last 3 bolts. However, the first heavenly tribulation was already so violent and ferocious. Who knew how powerful the subsequent heavenly tribulations would be? However, no matter how powerful the heavenly tribulation was, everyone looked forward to it because success or failure would have a little impact on Liberty's sacred city. No matter who succeeded, they would be an expert of Liberty's sacred city. At that time, Liberty's sacred city would have one more super heaven-defying expert. If they failed, Liberty's sacred city would lose a heaven-defying expert, and Liberty's sacred city would lose a portion of its strength. They didn't have to wait long. The sky began to change. Traces of light spots appeared in the auspicious cloud. The light spots became brighter and brighter, and more and more. Soon, these light spots were absorbed by a red electric arc. A red electric arc formed in the sky. The red electric arc looked extremely terrifying, and the sky was dyed red by this red electric arc. The world had also turned red. Kacha. Boom. Swoosh. The sound of the void being torn apart was heard, followed by an explosion. The red electric arc gathered all the light spots and swooped down from the void. The speed of the dive carried a destructive burning power, and the air burned with it. The red electric arc illuminated the entire imperial palace in a fiery red color. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and there was a glint in his eyes. True Dragon Body Barrier, 2nd level. His lips curled into a serious smile as he let out a faint shout. Immediately, all of his true essence began to circulate. He no longer had to worry about anything in his Dantian. He circulated his quintessential essence and the true Dragon Body Barrier to the 2nd layer. The power of the 2nd layer was far from what the 1st layer could compare to. The power of the heavenly tribulation was getting more and more terrifying, and he would also increase his defense according to the power of the heavenly tribulation. Rumble. With an explosion, the red electric arc struck the true Dragon Body Barrier. The 2nd bolt of heavenly tribulation struck his body solidly. At this moment, his defense only blocked a portion of the power, and the rest was all on his body. Li Lingtian spat out a mouthful of blood as his body swayed. His face was pale. His body was almost destroyed by this heavenly tribulation, but at the same time, the true Dragon Body Barrier began to recover quickly. The moment the red electric arcs disappeared, the true Dragon Body Barrier had already healed his injuries. Li Lingtian was struck twice by the 2 heavenly tribulations. Although his life was not in danger, his injuries were not light. However, this kind of bombardment had endless benefits for his body. He began to discover that there were slight changes in his body. His physique became stronger and stronger, and his true essence was even denser than before. The 5-colored golden core and the divine chi each occupied a side and began to spin. Without Li Lingtian's deliberate suppression, the divine chi and golden core spun freely and did not engage in a battle as expected. Although the true essence was earth-shattering, with the existence of Jindan and divine chi, even if it was earth-shattering, it would still be suppressed. Li Lingtian was enlightened when he realized this. It had always been a mistake for him to want to suppress it. If he really suppressed the divine chi, this breakthrough would be over and he would fail forever. If he wanted to wait for the next breakthrough, he did not know how long he would have to wait. After the 2nd bolt of heavenly tribulation disappeared, the sky became quiet again. All the warriors heaved a sigh of relief as if they were the ones who had achieved a breakthrough instead of Li Lingtian. Next, the 3rd heavenly tribulation appeared in the sky. The 4th tribulation, the 5th tribulation. When the 6th heavenly tribulation appeared, Li Lingtian had already activated the true dragon body barrier to the 5th level. The 5th layer of the true dragon body barrier managed to withstand the 5th heavenly tribulation, but Li Lingtian had already suffered endless damage. Li Lingshan's expression turned grave as he watched the 6th heavenly tribulation descend from the sky. In the sky, 4 arcs of lightning appeared from the north, south, east, west, and west. They were blue, white, and black. 4 arcs of lightning appeared in the depths of the void and arrived in the air in an instant. However, the 4 electric arcs did not bombard Li Lingtian at the same time. Instead, they quickly merged together in the air. Destruction Heavenly Tribulation. A destructive heavenly tribulation has appeared. This is the last destructive heavenly tribulation for a martial monarch realm expert to break through to the martial saint realm. Why did he appear now? Impossible. How could the destructive heavenly tribulation appear on the 6th? Destruction Heavenly Tribulation. It's Destruction Heavenly Tribulation. Looking at the fusion of the 4 destructive electric arcs in the sky, all the knowledgeable experts couldn't help but exclaim. This was because in the legends, the Destruction Heavenly Tribulation was the last heavenly tribulation for a martial emperor powerhouse to break through to the martial saint realm. They had never expected Li Lingshan's breakthrough to become so bizarre during the 6th heavenly tribulation. The Destruction Heavenly Tribulation had actually appeared. Destruction Heavenly Tribulation. The so-called Destruction Heavenly Tribulation was the last heavenly tribulation of a martial artist, a life and death moment. Either they survived, their cultivation base improved greatly, and their realm increased. Either they were destroyed and vanished into thin air, turning everything into the clouds of the past and disappearing from the world forever. Even a super martial emperor powerhouse would use a heaven-defying treasure to withstand such a heavenly tribulation. Because no one was willing to risk their lives. Even if they used a treasure, it wouldn't be considered cheating. Now that Li Lingshan's 6th heavenly tribulation had a destructive heavenly tribulation, it was beyond their imagination. As they watched the destructive heavenly tribulation, they looked expectantly at the imperial palace. At this moment, they were certain that Li Lingtian was making a breakthrough because no one was more heaven-defying than him. They all wanted to see how Li Lingtian would resist the destructive heavenly tribulation. Similarly, if Li Lingtian were to fail, Liberty Sacred City could be destroyed. You want to use heavenly tribulation to kill me? What a joke. I defy the heavens, so I have the ability to defy the heavens. A mere 6th destruction heavenly tribulation wants to destroy me? Aren't you overestimating yourself? Ice and fire cannot be compatible, but I want them to be compatible. 9 heavens of ice and fire, 4th heaven, forbidden. Li Lingtian was stunned when he saw the changes in the void. His fighting spirit then burst forth. An unyielding arrogance and a sharp fighting spirit soared into the sky. His aura changed rapidly, and his eyes flashed with a sharp light. Even if he was breaking through, he could not be so aggrieved. This was not his character. His voice was like a dragon's roar, resounding through the heavens and earth. In the sky, sound waves spread to the 9 heavens. In Liberty Holy City, Li Lingshan's voice was like an oracle. His voice made the powerhouses of Liberty Holy City's blood boil. This was the domineering aura of the ruler of Liberty Dynasty. Facing the heavenly tribulation, it was also so powerful and domineering. For a moment, all the experts were extremely excited, and their eyes revealed looks of worship and admiration. As soon as Li Lingtian finished speaking, his entire Bodhis vital essence surged out. He spread his arms and extended them into the void. A ball of flames and a ball of ice appeared in his hands. The 2 extreme destruction attributes formed 2 independent worlds of destruction. Li Lingtian stood in the middle of the 2 worlds of destruction. At this moment, Li Lingtian had completely become the critical point of destruction. I recommend the new book, Ancient Sage Myriad Ancient King. I welcome everyone to read and save it. I also want to vote for it. The new book needs everyone's support. Only with everyone's support can the new book go further. Chapter 760, Divine Destruction Heavenly Tribulation, 1, The world of flames and the world of ice surrounded Li Lingtian. At that moment, Li Lingshan's body was floating in the air as he looked up at the fusion of the 4 destructive electric arcs in the void. The 4 destructive electric arcs had already fused together to form a 4-colored beam of electric arc. The beam of electric arc pierced through the void and headed straight for Li Lingtian. The beam of lightning seemed to have sensed Li Lingshan's unyielding will to fight. Feeling provoked, it became even more terrifying as if it wanted to completely destroy this lowly human. A terrifying aura filled this world, and this space. Fuse. For the first time, Li Lingtian unleashed the most terrifying 9 heavens of ice and fire. The power of the 4th heaven was unleashed at this moment. The air was filled with destruction and death. When the 2 auras fused, they formed an aura of extinction. Behind the aura of extermination, it became strange. However, at that moment, Li Lingtian put his hands together and a huge 5-colored beam of light shot toward the electric arc in the void. 2 pillars of light shot up from the ground, while the other swooped down from the void. Their speed was extremely fast, and their power was equally heaven-defying. At this moment, the space began to tremble uneasily, and the ground continued to shake. Young Master D, Young Master D. Young Master, Young Master. Young Master D, Young Master D. Looking at the 5-colored pillar of light in the palace, all the experts became excited. In the face of the destructive heavenly tribulation, Li Lingtian had used his attacks to meet it instead of using treasures to block it. Such dominance was unique in the world. This kind of dominance was something that no one dared to compare to. It made people have no choice but to worship and admit defeat. In the free and unfettered sacred city, waves of cheers resounded throughout the world. At this moment, the heavenly tribulation was not facing Li Lingtian alone but hundreds of millions of free and unfettered sacred cities' martial artists. The air turned dull at this moment. The 2 destructive light beams crashed into each other like planets. After everyone cried out in alarm, they all quieted down and quietly watched the destructive collision in the air. Boom! Destruction finally appeared. The 2 pillars of light collided, emitting a shocking explosion. The space shattered, and endless destructive gales raged. This explosion occurred 10,000 meters above the ground. Even so, the destructive wind continued to destroy the ground. Countless experts used their terrifying defenses to block the wind. Roar! A furious roar sounded in the void, as if a true god from the upper realm had been enraged. It was a complete insult to be provoked by Li Lingtian and to be able to withstand the heavenly tribulation. However, after this roar, it gradually disappeared, and the world became quiet again. Everyone was shocked. A breakthrough had actually triggered such a situation. They did not know what kind of heaven-defying heavenly tribulation would come after Li Lingtian. After Li Lingtian defeated the 6th heavenly tribulation, his entire body trembled. His face turned pale, and he thought to himself that things were not good. The 6th heavenly tribulation carried a mental attack and defeated the 6th heavenly tribulation on the surface. However, this heavenly tribulation contained a mental attack. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood and quickly stabilized his mind with his divine sense. He could not let his mind waver. If his mind wavered, it would trigger his inner demon. If other experts had inner demons, they would definitely be destroyed. Their cultivation would never be able to advance, or their personalities would become strange and they would become demons. However, what he cultivated was the Saint Demon's true understanding, the strongest cultivation technique of the demon race, and also the holy book of the demon race. He controlled the supreme treasures of the demon race and obtained the true demon chi and Saint Demon chi. Even a true demon race would be inferior to him. Even if he went berserk now, it wouldn't be considered as it. Because he was a fiend to begin with, even if he went berserk, there was no such thing. However, he didn't want to cultivate a demonic technique at this time. After all, he had the heaven and earth reincarnation technique and didn't need to cultivate the saint-demon quintessence. The only thing he could do was to stabilize his state of mind or change his cultivation priority. He could not let the heaven and earth reincarnation technique become a support and let the saint-demon true understanding become his main cultivation. At this moment, the golden core also spun rapidly, almost turning into a light shadow. His dantian became even more restless because of the accelerated rotation of the golden core. At this moment, the divine chi quickly rotated with the golden core. Boom! 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 Muffled sounds rang out in the air. 9 colored arcs of lightning appeared in the 9 directions of east, south, west, north, south, east, west, and north. 9 arcs of lightning of different colors appeared in 9 directions, and a strange array formation instantly formed in the sky. Each electric arc carried a destructive aura and emitted a sizzling sound. One could imagine how powerful these electric arcs were. Even if this electric arc was enough to destroy any 9th firmament martial emperor or even any powerhouse below the 9th firmament martial saint, this situation made all the citizens and powerhouses curse out loud. Some of the martial saints trembled from the bottom of their hearts when they saw the electric arcs. They did not have the slightest confidence to withstand the attack of any electric arcs. At this moment, all the experts and citizens in Liberty Sacred City fell silent. They did not dare to breathe loudly and looked at the void in horror. The 9 arcs of lightning in the air, any expert with a little knowledge would be able to see that these arcs of lightning had already formed an array. The destructive lightning arcs formed a destructive array formation. A heavenly tribulation had actually reached such a level. It had already exceeded the imagination of all the experts. However, there were also a few super experts who had seen it in ancient books and immediately recognized the origin of this array formation heavenly tribulation. God-destroying heavenly tribulation. God extermination heavenly tribulation, the God extermination heavenly tribulation of the upper world. God-destroying heavenly tribulation? What is the God-destroying heavenly tribulation? The God-destroying heavenly tribulation is a heavenly tribulation that only mighty figures in the upper realm will encounter when they break through. It's also a 1 in 10,000 chance of encountering it. In other words, only those who are extremely unlucky can encounter such a heavenly tribulation. That's impossible. Young Master is only a martial emperor. How could he encounter the God-destroying heavenly tribulation? Damn the heavens, they actually sent down the God-destroying heavenly tribulation. The God-destroying heavenly tribulation is a blow to the entire region. Hurry up and activate the nation sealing array. Activate the nation sealing array. A few powerhouses recognized this God-destroying heavenly tribulation and immediately cried out in surprise. When the other experts heard the origin of this heavenly tribulation, they were all frightened. For a moment, the people of Liberty Sacred City were in a panic. At the same time, all the powerhouses cursed in their hearts. Li Lingtian was a martial emperor powerhouse, yet he was going to face a God-destroying heavenly tribulation. Was this not heaven's envy of the talented? The great nation sealing formation of the free and unfettered sacred city was activated. Instantly, the entire free and unfettered sacred city was blocked by layers of light curtains. Li Lingtian had spent half a month to build the nation sealing array. He had spent hundreds of billions of spiritual stones and countless heavenly materials and earthly treasures. This defensive array was definitely the #1 existence in the kingdom. Even a 9th-level martial monarch realm expert could not shake it. Even a martial god realm expert might not be able to shake this array easily. Li Lingtian looked at the 9 destructive electric arcs in the void and a bitter smile appeared on his face. With a flash, he passed through the nation sealing formation and floated in the air 10,000 meters away from it. This place was his base camp. Even if he destroyed it, he would not implicate these people. The heavenly tribulation targeted him, but now it targeted all the living beings around him. This heaven was also destructive and heartless. Anger rose in his heart. Since even the heavens were heartless, why should he respect the heavens? He was now the heavens and the earth. Billions of citizens and powerhouses watched as Li Lingtian left Liberty's sacred city. They understood Li Lingshan's intentions and were extremely grateful. With such a master, what was there to regret? He would always consider his subordinates. He would rather destroy himself than let his subordinates be implicated. In an instant, billions of citizens and powerhouses below the martial supreme realm were prostrating themselves on the ground, while powerhouses above the martial supreme realm were half kneeling on the ground to show their respect and worship for Li Lingtian. At that moment, all the warriors remained silent. They were praying that Li Lingtian would be able to withstand the heavenly tribulation and become a warrior sage powerhouse, a heaven-defying powerhouse who could fight against the heavens and earth. The heavenly Tao is merciless. I stand on my own. 5 elements of heaven and earth, 5 elements sacred body. 5 elements Tao intent, 9 heavenly stars, unparalleled array Tao, 5 elements heaven and earth array. Li Lingtian hovered in the void as he swept his gaze downward. He felt a sense of warmth in his heart as he looked at the countless citizens and powerhouses. Everything he had done was worth it. Since this world was heartless, he would form an independent world. The Zhen Yuan in his entire body dispersed as he circulated the heaven and earth reincarnation. His Zhen Yuan circulated freely, and he no longer cared about the circulation trajectory of his Zhen Yuan. This was because he wanted to become an independent world. The laws of this world were automatically formed, and he would not restrict the trajectory of this world. The 5 elements sacred body was activated at this moment. It was as if he had merged into the world and the world had become Li Lingtian. Just as the 5 elements Tao intent was circulating, Xianyuan Yingying could feel Li Lingshan's Tao intent. Her delicate body involuntarily flew up, and her expression was calm. She was the 5 elements sacred body and Li Lingshan's wife. At this moment, Li Lingtian was facing the punishment of heaven and earth. She would not hesitate to stand up and stand shoulder to shoulder with Li Lingtian to resist the punishment of heaven and earth. He passed through the nation's sealing array and arrived before Li Lingtian with a gentle smile in his eyes. The two of them looked at each other and pulled together. At the same time, Huangfu Yuyan and the rest exchanged glances. They activated the 5 elements reincarnation. Although the martial emperor realm's cultivation was too low, their combined power was heaven-defying. The 5 streams of powerful vital essence merged together at this moment. The moment the 5 streams of vital essence merged, they quickly penetrated the nation's sealing array and shot toward Li Lingtian. The 5-colored true essence wrapped around Li Lingtian, and gradually, Xianyuan Yingying was also entangled by this true essence. At this moment, the 7 of them were connected in their hearts. All their thoughts were connected in their hearts, and they would not leave each other in life and death. Chapter 761, The 7th Heavenly Tribulation. Billions of citizens and powerhouses watched Li Lingshan's transformation in the void. They were shocked, but none of them dared to make a sound. This kind of shock that he forcefully endured was worse than death. It was one thing for Li Lingtian to be at the 5 elements perfection, but he had not expected Li Lingtian to be at the 5 elements perfection and the 5 elements sacred body. Their minds were able to withstand all of this, but Xianyuan Yingying was just like Li Lingtian. What did the 2 5 elements sacred bodies represent? They represented the heaven-defying nature and the change of masters in this world. And at this moment, Huangfu Yuyan and the others' true qi appeared, and a magical scene happened, causing all the experts to be moved. Even though they did not understand what it meant, they could sense that Li Lingtian, Xianyuan Yingying, and the 5-colored primordial qi represented the 7 of them. Li Lingtian and his 6 wives could only reach this stage after they had completed their dual cultivation. In the divine martial continent, only the strong were respected. There were not many who truly loved each other. On the other hand, the girls around Li Lingtian were all peerless beauties. They could trust Li Lingtian wholeheartedly and would never abandon him in life and death. The 9 lightning arcs in the sky were merciless, but the space below Li Lingtian was filled with boundless affection. The worship and respect of billions of people, the love of his wife. It formed a stark contrast between the heavens and the earth. The 7 strands of true essence quickly fused, forming an independent world. The 9 heavenly stars was also used at this time. However, behind the 9 heavenly stars, there was a mysterious array formation that was heaven-defying. The 5 elements heaven and earth formation borrowed the 5 elements of heaven and earth to control them. It had reached the power of a heaven-defying and fate-changing technique. This was because Li Lingtian was not defending against the 9 lightning arcs but a destructive god-destroying heavenly tribulation. The appearance of the 9 arcs of lightning quickly formed an array formation, forming the god-extermination heavenly tribulation. With the heaven-destroying array heavenly tribulation, not to mention a martial emperor powerhouse like him who had yet to break through, even a martial god would vanish into thin air in front of this god-destroying heavenly tribulation. Now, it was no longer as simple as breaking through. He was fighting against the world alone. Li Lingtian would be victorious if he defeated the god-destroying heavenly tribulation. After failing, they would be destroyed by the god-destroying heavenly tribulation and vanish into thin air. Rumble. Rumble. Kacha, kacha. Boom. Boom. Thunder boomed between heaven and earth. 9 arcs of lightning had already spun rapidly, forming a destructive array formation. The 6th heavenly tribulation was already so terrifying. No one dared to imagine what would happen after that. Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying held each other's hands as the 5 elements Tao will emanated from them. At this moment, the 5 elements heaven and earth formation was unleashed to its limits. He was an array Tao master, a powerful array Tao master. Normally, there was no need for array Tao to deal with heavenly tribulations. However, this heavenly tribulation was array Tao. Only array Tao masters could truly understand the power of array Tao. Just as the 5 elements heaven and earth formation was unleashed, the formation path formed by 9 lightning arcs came pressing down from the sky. The 9 arcs of lightning transformed into 1 arc of lightning. The arc of lightning carried an endless mystical array formation as it rapidly bombarded Li Lingtian. Boom! Finally, the god-destroying heavenly tribulation landed on Li Lingtian's 5-element heaven and earth formation. A devastating explosion erupted. Li Lingtian's body began to sway. However, the instant his body swayed, the true essence from Tang Qingyue and the rest unleashed a shocking power. This power was combined with Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying's true essence. The magical effect of the combination blocked all the power. For a moment, the heaven and earth 5 elements formation and the god-destroying heavenly tribulation were in a stalemate. The billions of citizens and experts of Liberty's sacred city held their breaths and did not dare to make a sound. He was afraid that his voice would disrupt the temporary balance of the space. Once this balance was broken, either Li Lingtian would fall or he would win. Divine Array Diagram. Li Lingtian did not wait for his death. Instead, he activated his divine consciousness and summoned the Divine Array Diagram. The God-extermination heavenly tribulation was not just a heavenly tribulation, it was also a confrontation of the Array Tao. If he wanted to resist this God-extermination heavenly tribulation, he had to use the most powerful array path to resist it. If he could not resist it, he could only dissipate into thin air. The heavenly tribulation would target any ability of an expert. At that thought, Li Lingtian began to worry. He did not know how he would withstand the pill tribulation that would occur during the heavenly tribulation. All of this was a matter for the future. However, he had to overcome this heavenly tribulation now. Otherwise, forget about the future, he would disappear into thin air now. The divine array appeared in front of him, and a golden light expanded. It was as dazzling as a golden sun. After the divine array diagram appeared, Li Lingtian cast a series of spells with both hands. The golden light grew stronger and stronger. The golden light scattered inside the 5 elements heaven and earth formation, making it even more stable. The stars in the 9 heavens also obtained golden light. Gradually, the stars in the 9 heavens began to devour the power of the heavenly tribulation. It was not the power of the 9 heavenly stars devouring the heavenly tribulation. To be precise, it was the power of the golden light devouring the heavenly tribulation. Kacha. A muffled sound appeared. Finally, the God extermination heavenly tribulation disappeared. All the power turned into a mysterious aura and entered the 9 heaven stars. The 6th heavenly tribulation was finally blocked. All the experts and citizens heaved a sigh of relief at this moment. However, these experts and citizens were even more worried. The 6th heavenly tribulation was already so powerful, and the subsequent 3 heavenly tribulations would be even more terrifying. After Li Lingtian withstood the 6th heavenly tribulation, he did not descend. Instead, he hovered in the air. This was because the heavenly tribulation was getting stronger and stronger. If he went down, it would definitely affect the experts of Liberty's sacred city. The sky was temporarily quiet as Li Lingtian stared into the void. Yingying, be careful. Li Lingtian took a look at Xianyuan Yingying and realized that her cultivation was beginning to break through. Now that the 2 of them were resisting the heavenly tribulation, the power of the heavenly tribulation had increased by several times. It was already extremely difficult to resist this heavenly tribulation. His physique was strong, so he was naturally not afraid. However, Xianyuan Yingying was a delicate girl. If she was struck by the heavenly tribulation, she would definitely disappear into thin air. However, he couldn't ask her to go down now. If Xianyuan Yingying went down, she would lose the chance to break through. Although they were both sacred bodies of the 5 elements in dual cultivation, their realms would be different if something happened to them. Yes, I understand. Xianyuan Yingying nodded. Her eyes were filled with gentleness as she recalled the first time she met Li Lingtian. Beautiful scenes flashed through her mind as a blissful smile appeared on her face. Her little hand was held tightly by Li Lingtian. She was surrounded by happiness. She would always be the happiest woman in the world. Boom! Soon, a clap of thunder sounded in the sky, interrupting this beautiful memory. He had returned to reality. In reality, it was as beautiful as in his memories. His beloved was still by his side. As the 7th bolt of heavenly tribulation descended, everyone looked up at the sky. He wanted to see how powerful the 7th heavenly tribulation was and how many times stronger it was than the 6th. Li Lingtian was also looking up at the sky. In the sky, the originally bright day was now dotted with stars. The sky between heaven and earth was gradually darkening. Soon, night fell. There were countless stars in the starry sky, but these stars carried a trace of starlight that could devour one's mind. Yingying. Li Lingtian looked at the stars in the sky with a grave expression. However, his expression soon relaxed. He turned to Xianyuan Yingying and called out softly. The 2 of them looked at each other and their hearts were connected. Xianyuan Yingying understood what Li Lingtian wanted to do and say. At the same time, the 2 of them put away the 5 elements' will. However, the will of the great path of gold in the air continued to soar, and all the will of the great path turned into the will of the great path of gold. This was because if one wanted to break through the stars in the void, they had to use a destructive move to break through them directly. The attack performed by the metal will of the great path was the strongest. Xianyuan Yingying did not need Li Lingtian to say anything to know what he was thinking. Metal will. The two of them mumbled to themselves as if they were talking to themselves. Their voices were very soft, but their voices carried a mysterious majesty. The will of the great path of metal instantly exploded in the air, filling the void. The Xiaoyao sacred city in the night sky was perfect. However, no one was admiring the perfect night view at that moment because there was only darkness and specks of starlight. However, the starlight was about to destroy Li Lingtian. 3 swords as one. Heaven-destroying sword formation, destroy the void. Li Lingshan's divine consciousness moved after he unleashed the metal will of the way. A stream of light flashed between his brows. 3 exquisite heavenly swords appeared in front of him, floating in front of him and spinning continuously. The moment the 3 heavenly swords appeared, a crystalline light erupted from the night sky. The heavenly swords erupted with a dazzling pressure at this moment. In the sky, there was an endless ball of light in front of Li Lingtian. The ball of light was a crystalline radiance that illuminated the night sky. The appearance of the 3 heavenly swords unleashed a destructive pressure from heaven and earth. Even in front of the nation sealing array, the powerhouses below could feel the terrifying pressure of destruction. They stared at the heavenly swords in front of Li Lingtian in horror. However, with a swipe of his hand, Li Lingtian unleashed a shocking sword will. At that moment, Li Lingtian was like a sharp sword that stood proudly between heaven and earth. The destructive sword intent fused the 3 heavenly swords together. The 3 heavenly swords combined into one, becoming a heavenly sword. The 4th move of the heaven-destroying sword formation was used at this moment. It was known to be able to destroy the void. With a wave of Li Lingshan's hand, a destructive sword will soared into the sky. At the same time, a destructive sword ray blasted into the void without any target. It was not any star, nor was it the brightest star in the void. However, the destructive sword light of this sword directly enveloped all the stars, as if it wanted to destroy the starry sky. Chapter 762, The 8th Heavenly Tribulation. The destructive sword light shot out like a comet. Wherever the sword light passed, the void trembled. The entire Liberty sacred city also trembled in front of this sword light. All the experts looked at the sword light, and their hearts also became tense. He didn't know how much time had passed. Was it an instant, a second, or a century? At this moment, the void was broken like a mirror. Bang! Boom! The sound of an object colliding was heard, followed by an explosion. Crash! With the sound of a mirror being broken, the entire starry sky shattered inch by inch like a mirror. The sword ray disappeared into the endless void. However, the moment the sword ray disappeared, the void began to shatter. The world trembled rapidly, and countless experts could not stand steadily, as if they would be shaken to the ground at any moment. However, the night sky suddenly disappeared and returned to daytime. The auspicious clouds in the sky were still there. Everything seemed like an illusion. The 7th heavenly tribulation was finally dispelled by Li Lingtian. No one could tell from Li Lingshan's aura, but he could sense a slight change in his aura. Every time he blocked a heavenly tribulation, his aura would increase by a level. Even the true essence in his dantian would sublimate. After the 7th heavenly tribulation was blocked, his aura soared to a critical point. This critical point did not mean that his power was powerful, but that his aura had reached the peak of the martial emperor realm and had vaguely entered the martial sage realm. At that moment, Li Lingshan's heart was filled with anticipation, yet he was somewhat against it. He looked forward to the arrival of the 8th heavenly tribulation, but he was worried that the 8th heavenly tribulation would be too heaven-defying and directly destroy him. This was because the breakthrough this time had already exceeded his imagination. It had exceeded the imagination of all the experts. This breakthrough was definitely not simple. Even a martial saint who had advanced to the martial god realm did not have such a heaven-defying heavenly tribulation. The two of them floated in the air and waited quietly, waiting for the arrival of the heavenly tribulation. Huangfu Yuyan and the others were also extremely worried. However, it was useless to worry now. This was because the experts had to go through this step. The experts of the divine martial continent could not reach this step no matter how hard they tried. Which powerhouse would not flock like ducks for this day? Now, Li Lingtian had been waiting for this day to come. He was about to face the heaven's retribution. As long as he could survive the heaven's retribution, he would become a true powerhouse. Huangfu Yuyan and the other girls were all looking at Li Lingtian, who was in the air. All the super guards in the palace were paying attention to the sky as they waited for Li Lingshan's breakthrough. Li Lingshan's breakthrough alone had affected the minds of all the powerhouses in Liberty's sacred city. It was linked to the fate of Liberty Dynasty. It also affected the fate of the Mystic Moon Empire and the future of the entire Black Continent. Boom! In the sky, there was finally movement after a short period of silence. However, the commotion stunned all the warriors and even Li Lingtian. Because there was no more lightning in the sky except for thunder, and there was no starry sky to begin with. What appeared in everyone's line of sight was a ball of flames in the west of the sky. The destructive flames were about to burn the world. At the same time, a dark blue world of ice appeared in the east of the horizon. The appearance of this icy world seemed to freeze the space. Two extreme worlds appeared before the eyes of Li Lingtian and all the powerhouses. The powerhouses from Liberty Holy City could only smile bitterly. Li Lingshan's strongest trump card was ice and fire. The heavenly tribulation he was facing now was actually made up of ice and fire. However, this ice and fire was many times more powerful than the one Li Lingtian displayed. Whoosh, whoosh. Raging flames and ice quickly pressed down from the east and west. The space trembled as the destructive pressure seemed to be about to crush the space. A world of flames lit up half the sky. A cold world would freeze half the world. The two extreme attributes were rapidly converging. This scene caused all the powerhouses and the citizens of Liberty Holy City to tremble. The arrival of these two worlds was not only targeted at Li Lingtian alone, but also the entire Liberty Holy City. If Li Lingtian managed to withstand the collision between the worlds of ice and fire, everyone else would be destroyed. Li Lingtian could only choose one outcome. He could either withstand the pressure from the two worlds himself or lose all his subordinates, citizens, and family. This was a test of one's state of mind and cultivation. This was not the first time. Li Lingtian had already gone through two trials and this was his third. Li Lingtian hesitated at that moment. He did not know how to break the heavenly tribulation. He cursed in his heart. The other people's heavenly tribulations were all lightning. However, when it came to him, all kinds of strange heavenly tribulations appeared. Wasn't this bullying? Big brother Lingtian, we'll be together forever. Even if we're destroyed, we'll be destroyed with you. Xianyuan Yingying looked at the expression on Li Lingshan's face and understood his dilemma. When she spoke, her voice was extremely gentle, and her eyes were also extremely gentle. This voice and gaze were enough to make all the men in the world go crazy. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. The sound of air being torn apart rang out. Huangfu Yuyan and the others also came to Li Lingshan's side. Huangfu Yuyan, Tang Qingyue, Shun Mei Tang Zimeng, Qingling, Little White, Ge, Qingping and the others had arrived by Li Lingshan's side. He didn't say anything. This action proved everything. Xiao Bai, you go down. If we get injured or die, I'll leave the rest to you. Li Lingshan's gaze swept past Xianyuan Yingying and the rest before finally landing on Little White with a serious expression. Big brother. Be careful. Little White's body trembled when she heard Li Lingshan's words but she soon understood. It wasn't that he didn't want her to take risks and share weal and woe with him, but that she had more important things to do. Furthermore, she was the only one who could accomplish this task. She called out to Li Lingtian seriously as her eyes began to mist before her gaze turned resolute. "Yes, I understand." Li Lingtian nodded and reached out to stroke Xiao Bei's hair. His eyes were filled with gentleness. After coming to this world, the ones who had the deepest feelings for him were his wives, but the ones closest to him were Ji Yi and Xiao Bai. Little White obediently allowed Li Lingtian to caress it before it turned around and flew down. After a short period of time, the world of flames and the world of ice at the edge of the horizon had already arrived in the sky above Liberty's sacred city. The terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth almost destroyed this free and unfettered sacred city. The place where the ice and flames intersected emitted a shocking destructive power. At this moment, the nation-sealing array of Liberty's sacred city also trembled. If this nation-sealing array was destroyed, at least half of the martial artists in Liberty's sacred city would die instantly. Li Lingtian no longer hesitated at this critical moment. He circulated all the vital essence in his body and quickly executed the heaven and earth reincarnation to the extreme. Terrifying true essence was also displayed at this moment. The heaven and earth reincarnation technique was the most magical cultivation technique in the world. It could fuse and balance any attribute. 5 elements reincarnation. Tang Qingyue and the rest exchanged glances before they channeled all their true essence. With their combined efforts, they fused all their true essence together and it quickly arrived beside Li Lingtian. Qingping and the others also unleashed their true essence. Although they could not fuse their true essence, it could help Li Lingtian reduce the destructive pressure. By reducing the pressure on Li Lingtian, he could focus more on dealing with the 8th heavenly tribulation. Swoosh, swoosh. Hoo, hoo. In the sky, Li Lingtian's ice-fire combination was unleashed to its maximum as his true essence and strong wind clashed. Waving his hands, he floated in the air and arrived between the world of ice and the world of flames. He used his body to resist the destruction of the ice and flames. Li Lingtian and the rest's actions moved all the powerhouses in Liberty Holy City. This was because Li Lingtian had given up his own life and her family had supported him at this time in order to prevent Liberty's sacred city from being destroyed. There was no one in the entire divine martial continent who could do this for Liberty's sacred city and his people. Seeing all this, all the experts were shocked. Attack! Help young Master D block the flames and ice. All of you, attack. Even if you have to be destroyed, it won't be a waste of your time in this world. Young Master D has done this for us. We won't let you down. Those below the Martial Emperor level will maintain the formation. Those above the Martial Emperor level will defend against the Inferno world and the Ice world. For a moment, countless experts shouted. Immediately, all the martial artists began to circulate their true chi and true essence. Everyone divided their work according to their own cultivation. Martial artists below the Martial Emperor level used true chi and true essence to strengthen the array and used true chi and true essence to help stabilize the array. The other experts above the Martial Emperor realm could already penetrate the array formation with their vital essence. Although attacks could not penetrate the array formation, true essence without attack could. With the help of millions of powerhouses' true essence, it was enough to help Li Lingtian withstand the heavenly tribulation. It was an earth-shattering lineup. The power of a city and a dynasty was here to help Li Lingtian withstand the heavenly tribulation. Even if the experts of a city did not use any attacks, this true essence was still terrifying enough. When Li Lingtian saw the situation, a comforting smile appeared on his face. Although everything he had done was not for the sake of Liberty's sacred city, it was more or less for the sake of Liberty's sacred city, because Liberty's sacred city was his headquarters. If he didn't do this, Liberty's sacred city would be destroyed, and his family and wife would also die. However, he did not expect that his actions would be recognized by all the powerhouses in Liberty's sacred city. He decided in his heart that he would make the people of Liberty's sacred city the strongest experts in the world and make the experts of Liberty's sacred city famous. This was a heartfelt promise. At the same time, he had to defeat all the heavenly tribulations. Only then would he not let down the expectations and sacrifices of all the people. Chapter 763, The Ninth Heavenly Tribulation. All the experts used their heaven-defying true essence to penetrate the array formation and quickly blocked the ice world and the flame world. The massive amount of Zhen Yuan, no matter how terrifying the Inferno world and the ice world were, was still able to withstand it. Instantly, the two extreme existences were stabilized by a huge amount of true essence. At this moment, Li Lingtian finally had a chance to breathe as his eyes shone brightly. The true essence in his body circulated, quickly refining this world of ice and fire. Other methods would not work at all. Now, he could only refine these two extreme worlds. However, he could rest assured now. Before the eighth heavenly tribulation disappeared, the ninth heavenly tribulation would not come. In other words, he still had a lot of time, but the premise was that the true essence of the experts below was continuous. Refine. With a light shout, the ice-fire combination was unleashed to the extreme at this moment. Instantly, the terrifying power of the world of ice and the world of flames surged toward Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian endured the infusion of the icy and fiery qi. For a moment, his entire person had formed the critical point of two extreme worlds. As long as he was slightly careless, his entire person would instantly disappear into thin air. Swoosh! Seeing that Li Lingtian was about to refine the ice world and the flaming world, Huangfu Yuyan and the others exchanged glances before they channeled their true essence into Li Lingshan's Dantian. With the six men's true essence, Li Lingshan's strength and true essence soared. At this moment, its power had increased greatly, and its endurance to resist the world of ice and flames had also increased greatly. However, the golden core and divine qi in his Dantian did not listen to Li Lingshan's words at all. They left his Dantian in an instant and entered the air. The five-colored golden core and the halo of divine qi kept spinning. However, they were currently revolving around Li Lingtian. To Li Lingshan's surprise, the rotation of the five-colored golden core and divine qi accelerated the refinement of the icy world and the flaming world. As a result, the refinement of the two ultimate worlds was several times faster. Tang Qingyue and the others, as well as the experts and citizens below, were all shocked. He was extremely curious about Li Lingshan's five-colored golden core. Then, he recalled that Li Lingtian had the five-element saintly being and had mastered the five elements will. It was only natural that he had attained the five-colored golden core. Boom! 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 Sensing Li Lingshan's intentions, the world of ice and the world of flames trembled incessantly. However, the millions of powerhouses' true essence had imprisoned them. Now that Li Lingtian had refined a portion of its power, it was too late for them to resist. In the void above the nine heavens, angry roars sounded. However, the angry roars at this time were completely ignored by Li Ling. Li Lingtian had already infuriated the heavens earlier, so it did not matter now. At the same time, the five-colored golden core received the terrifying cold qi and the raging flame qi roar. Its power continued to increase and began to sublimate. Li Lingshan's aura and temperament had also elevated, making him look ethereal. Kacha. Kacha. After an unknown period of time, the world of flames and the world of ice finally shattered. The originally heaven-defying might was completely refined by Li Lingtian at this moment. The power in the air also gradually disappeared. All the powerhouses slowly retracted their primordial qi. However, they had almost depleted their primordial qi by helping Li Lingtian withstand the heavenly tribulation. The eighth bolt of heavenly tribulation finally disappeared. Li Lingshan's aura was constantly changing. At this moment, the five-colored golden Dan and the divine Qi absorbed all the mysterious Qi in the air like a tornado. Seeing that the eighth bolt of heavenly tribulation had been blocked, Tang Qingyue and the others smiled comfortingly. However, they all knew that the ninth heavenly tribulation would be the most terrifying one. Li Lingtian could only truly achieve a breakthrough by accepting the ninth heavenly tribulation. Wait slowly. All the citizens and experts were also waiting for the final heavenly tribulation to arrive. As long as Li Lingtian withstood the final heavenly tribulation, he would be able to rise from the ashes. His breakthrough this time was earth-shattering, and it was even more terrifying than the breakthrough of a martial god. When the time came, his achievements would definitely be heaven-defying among heaven-defying. In the sky, it was extremely quiet. Endless auspicious clouds floated in the sky. In this world, Liberty's sacred city was peaceful. There was no killing or hostility. However, the atmosphere was too strange and depressing. Because everyone knew that there was another apocalyptic heavenly tribulation that was about to descend. This was just the prelude to the storm. After the silence, it would be a storm. Kacha, the quiet sky was finally broken by a voice. The sound was like something being broken. It came from the void. Moreover, the moment this voice appeared, a hole was torn in the void. A white ray of light tore through the air toward Li Lingtian like a fairy from beyond the heavens. Destruction, death, sharpness, and dominance could only describe a 10,000th of this white light. Sword intent. Sword force. Li Lingtian looked at the white light descending from the sky and a hint of horror flashed across his eyes. All the experts were also extremely shocked because this white light was actually a sword light. The heavenly tribulation was actually a sword light. Was this not a joke? In fact, the heavenly tribulation was not just joking around with Li Lingtian once. It had done so many times and it was a huge joke that exceeded everyone's imagination. Li Lingtian's lips curled into a smile when he saw the sword radiance. At the same time, his shock turned into excitement. He had already reached an unparalleled level in Sword Dao. As a heavenly sword body, he controlled 3 heavenly swords, endless sword intent, and sword aura. He also had heaven-defying saint realm divine powers. Naturally, he did not fear this sword aura heavenly tribulation at all. This sword light was the simplest and most direct, but also the most destructive and domineering. No one could help him. He could only rely on himself to withstand this heavenly tribulation. He would either die or become a martial saint. As he spoke, the aura around his entire body changed. Sword intent exploded in the air. This destructive sword intent filled the space, and the sword intent quickly formed sword momentum. With Li Lingtian as the sword body, the sword will between heaven and earth was wrapped around Li Lingtian at this moment. Heavenly sword body. He used his body to carry the heavenly sword body and turned himself into the heavenly sword. His entire person was like a divine sword that stood proudly between heaven and earth. His body flashed, and at this moment, he turned into a sword light. The sword light was not big, and it was on a completely different level compared to the sword light tribulation in the void. However, this aura and dominance were not inferior to the sword light heavenly tribulation that fell from the sky. The moment Li Lingtian transformed into a sword beam, the divine aura halo and the 5-colored golden core also transformed into a stream of light and entered the sword beam. They combined into one and rapidly bombarded the void. This was the last heavenly tribulation. Everyone placed their attention on it. This was also the most crucial heavenly tribulation. Victory and defeat depended on this moment. Tang Qingyue and the others looked up at the sky worriedly. Li Lingtian had to fend off the most powerful heavenly tribulation alone. 2 destructive sword lights quickly bombarded the other party. Kacha. In an instant, the 2 sword lights collided as if they ignored the distance between them. Heaven and earth trembled, and space began to shatter inch by inch as if a mirror had been broken. Whoosh, whoosh. Hoo, hoo. The strong wind raged. The experts in Liberty's sacred city had already forgotten to resist the strong wind. Their eyes and minds were all attracted by the scene in the sky, anticipating the final outcome. Li Lingshan's breakthrough was no longer a matter of his own. This was because his success or failure was related to the future of Liberty's sacred city. Moreover, they had withstood the 8th heavenly tribulation together, and it was also their painstaking effort. At that moment, she was destined to live and die with the carefree dynasty and follow in Li Lingshan's footsteps forever. This was because Li Lingtian was a master worth pursuing and a powerhouse who could be assured. Boom! The collision of the sword lights formed 2 halos. The halos collided with each other. Although the space was destroyed, the 2 sword lights had not yet determined the winner. However, in the end, there was still a victor and a result. In the sky, the 2 sword lights disappeared and exploded at the same time. The sword ray heavenly tribulation vanished along with Li Lingshan's sword ray. He appeared in the air with traces of blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. His clothes were in tatters. Moreover, his entire body was covered in blood, as if he had been fished out of a sea of blood. His body also rapidly fell down. All the powerhouses were shocked by the scene. If Li Lingtian were to fall, their breakthrough would be a failure and Liberty's sacred city would be destroyed. However, just as Li Lingtian was about to fall, he opened his eyes with a glint in them. His face was full of fatigue and embarrassment, but his eyes were bright. His body swayed and he floated in the air. The divine chi and the golden core had already entered his body. Other than being in a sorry state, his entire body was emitting a faint mysterious glow. Auspicious clouds in the sky surged toward Li Lingtian as if they were summoned by the light. The warrior powerhouses below cheered at the sight of Li Lingshan's breakthrough. As long as he absorbed the auspicious clouds in the sky, he would be able to achieve a true breakthrough from the 9th firmament martial emperor realm to the martial saint realm. With Li Lingshan's previous heaven-defying strength and the heaven-defying breakthrough this time, Li Lingshan's strength would reach a terrifying level. Young Master D, Young Master D. Young Master, Young Master. In the entire Liberty's sacred city, billions of citizens and experts began to cheer. This excited look was even more excited than his own breakthrough. Li Lingtian was not in the mood to enjoy the joy brought by the outside world. Instead, he was fully focused on absorbing the auspicious cloud. Only by absorbing these auspicious clouds could one truly become a martial saint. His current cultivation was only between the 9th level of the martial emperor realm and the martial saint realm. His realm was not stable yet. If he was not careful, he would return to the 9th level of the martial emperor realm. Such a thing naturally couldn't happen to him. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing. Chapter 764, Absorbing the Auspicious Cloud. This breakthrough, the auspicious clouds had exceeded his imagination. The quantity and density were 10,000 times stronger than other martial saints who had broken through to the martial god realm. It was simply impossible to absorb these auspicious clouds in a short period of time. Liberty's sacred city was sealed off at that moment. Outsiders were barred from entering the city. Only after Li Lingtian had absorbed the auspicious cloud and achieved a breakthrough would Liberty's sacred city be opened. In Liberty's sacred city, the War God Legion, the other 3 legions, and countless powerhouses surrounded Li Lingtian within 100 miles. With such a lineup, even a fly would find it difficult to fly in. The news of Li Lingshan's breakthrough spread throughout the entire Carefree dynasty and the neighboring kingdoms. This news was undoubtedly the biggest bomb in the Mystic Moon Empire. For a moment, some were happy while others were sad. The people and experts of the Carefree Empire were excited, while the experts of the other kingdoms were extremely anxious. After all, Li Lingtian had established the carefree dynasty when he was still a martial emperor and swept through the Moonsong kingdom with unstoppable force. Furthermore, he had destroyed the Yun Peak villa of the Great Shang Kingdom, causing the Great Shang Kingdom to be unable to recover. Now that Li Lingtian had broken through to the 9th firmament martial emperor realm and become a martial saint, his cultivation and strength had skyrocketed. Naturally, his might was even more heaven-defying. Furthermore, the heavenly tribulation and auspicious clouds that Li Lingtian attracted during his breakthrough, as well as some heaven-defying signs, had shocked countless powerhouses. If Li Lingtian were to truly stabilize his realm, he would definitely become a major threat to all the kingdoms under the mystic Moon Empire. It was not that easy for every powerhouse to break through a major realm. Even if he broke through, he would still be weak for a period of time. At least for half a year, his cultivation realm would not be stable. Some powerhouses also saw this as an opportunity to kill Li Lingtian. Therefore, the various kingdoms' super experts had already begun to act in secret. Soon after, Li Lingtian became the ultimate target of the various powerhouses. There were 3 reasons. Firstly, Li Lingtian had obtained the reincarnation pill refined by Yun Peak Villa. This reincarnation pill could allow a martial saint to break through to a martial god. The second reason was that Li Lingtian had long been a threat to the various kingdoms and powerhouses. They had to eliminate him. They did not have the chance to kill Li Lingtian in the past, but now that he was in a weakened state, this was an opportunity. Thirdly, it was rumored that Li Lingtian had already refined a grade 8 spirit concentration pill before his breakthrough. After refining the spirit concentration pill, he attracted the heavenly tribulation and achieved a breakthrough. The grade 8 congealing spirit pill was not much different from the reincarnation pill. In fact, the congealing spirit pill was even more powerful than the reincarnation pill. After all, the reincarnation pill was too vicious and its usage was not stable. However, since the spirit concentration pill was refined by Li Lingtian, its power and effects were even more amazing. Furthermore, Li Lingtian's wealth was heaven-defying. Coupled with the reincarnation pill and the spirit concentration pill, 2 tier 8 pills, Li Lingtian was definitely the greatest temptation for the powerhouses of the divine martial continent. As long as they could kill Li Lingtian, they would be rewarded with endless wealth, elixirs, treasures, and beauties. For a moment, Liberty's sacred city seemed calm, but murderous intent surged. The entire Liberty Holy City had become the epicenter of the mystic Moon Empire's storm. All the powerhouses were targeting Li Lingtian. A martial saint who had just started to break through had actually attracted the experts of the world to come and kill him. Similarly, Li Lingtian was aware of this situation in Liberty's sacred city. Although he had countless powerhouses under him, he did not have anyone at the 6th or 7th heaven of the martial saint realm. However, he was glad that the intelligence agency below was extremely powerful. No matter what kind of news it was delivered to Longda at the first moment. Some unimportant information was personally dealt with by Longda. However, if he didn't dare to make a decision, he would send the information to Tang Qingyue and the others for them to make a decision. At this critical moment, Li Lingtian was about to make a breakthrough, but Tang Qingyue and the others had suppressed everything. In fact, even if Tang Qingyue and the others did not say anything, Li Lingtian knew what was going on outside. His breakthrough was not only to face the heavenly tribulation, but also to face the schemes of the heaven-defying experts in the outside world. However, he was not in the mood to care about it now. Instead, he sped up the absorption of auspicious clouds to break through. Only by truly breaking through would he be able to solve anything. Heaven and Earth reincarnation. Devouring light. True dragon body protection. Li Lingtian looked at the endless auspicious clouds as he absorbed them rapidly. The absorbed auspicious clouds quickly increased the true essence in his body, and at the same time, his entire body also sublimated. The auspicious cloud was of no use to others, but it was crucial to someone like Li Lingtian who had achieved a breakthrough. Moreover, this auspicious cloud was targeted at him and was obtained by him after experiencing the heavenly tribulation. Therefore, this auspicious cloud could only be absorbed and used by him alone to increase his cultivation. According to this speed, it would take a long time to absorb these auspicious clouds, not to mention that he still had to refine them later. In this way, it would be impossible for him to do so without half a year's time. Moreover, after his realm increased, he still needed to adapt to his cultivation. A real battle would definitely not take a short period of time. More importantly, every martial emperor powerhouse would be weakened for half a year after breaking through to the martial saint realm. When ordinary experts broke through, they would have the protection of their families and powerful backers, or they would hide in the mountains and not let their opponents discover them. In this half a year, his realm wasn't stable, and he would fall if he wasn't careful. Moreover, the cultivation base and forces were very weak during this period, not even half of what they were before. It was precisely because of this that other experts would take advantage of this moment to kill him. This was what he was most worried about. Also, he had become the target of all the experts in the Mystic Moon Empire, and he was also the target of all the experts. Naturally, he had become the center of the storm. In addition, he would be a threat to the kingdoms under the Mystic Moon Empire in the future. It would be strange if those kingdoms didn't kill him. Anyone who wasn't a fool would understand these things. Therefore, he did not dare to be careless at this time. He had to absorb the auspicious cloud in a short period of time and quickly stabilize his realm. When the time came, he would face a heaven-defying expert. Otherwise, he could only wait for death. Thinking of this, he looked at the endless auspicious clouds in the sky and immediately began to circulate the heaven and earth reincarnation technique. He used the heaven and earth reincarnation technique to refine the auspicious clouds, the true dragon to protect his body, and the devouring light to devour the auspicious clouds. He could do three things at the same time. At once, three heaven-defying cultivation techniques and divine powers were activated. Endless auspicious clouds surged toward Li Lingtian like a tidal wave. Boom! Boom! Hoo! Hoo! In the sky, the shocking auspicious clouds were like monstrous waves, emitting a rumbling sound. When the countless experts of Liberty Sacred City saw this, their expressions were stunned, and then they were shocked. Heaven-defying people indeed had heaven-defying ways. When he broke through, he triggered the God-destroying heavenly tribulation and the sword ray heavenly tribulation. Now, when he was absorbing the auspicious clouds, he actually used such a heaven-defying method to accelerate the absorption. Li Lingtian was the only one who could achieve such a feat. No one else dared to think about it or imagine it. The power of the devouring light could instantly absorb all the true essence and spiritual qi into true essence for its own use. The destructive auspicious clouds were protected by the true dragon's body, and the heaven and earth reincarnation was responsible for compressing and refining the devoured auspicious clouds. In an instant, Li Lingtian was suspended in the air as he absorbed all the auspicious cloud spirit qi. He looked like a beggar, but no one dared to laugh at him. Even if his current appearance was funny, that kind of heaven-defying domineering aura could only make people worship and worship him. There was no way he could be a joke. Tang Qingyue and the others also began to absorb other immortal spiritual energy in the palace. Although they could not break through the heavenly tribulation by following Li Lingtian, it would be of great benefit to them in the future. Now that they had nothing to do, absorbing immortal spiritual energy to increase their cultivation was the best. Only Xianyuan Yingying was standing below Li Lingtian. Her beautiful eyes were closed as a mysterious hand gesture kept changing. The auspicious cloud also quickly entered his body and was quickly refined. Although the auspicious cloud was targeted at Li Lingtian, she was a dual cultivator with the same cultivation realm as Li Lingtian and possessed the 5 elements sacred body. When Li Lingtian's cultivation base increased, she would follow suit. When Li Lingtian broke through, she would follow suit. Although the amount of auspicious clouds she was absorbing was not as much as Li Lingshan's, it could help Li Lingtian reduce the amount of auspicious clouds he had to refine. This way, the auspicious clouds would be absorbed and refined more quickly. A day passed. 2 days passed. 3 days passed. On the 4th day, there were not many auspicious clouds left in the sky. Seeing this situation, the powerhouses from Liberty Sacred City could only be speechless. They were already numb to Li Lingshan's methods and were used to it. It would be strange if Li Lingshan's methods were ordinary. In the eyes of others, it would take at least 2 to 3 months to absorb such a huge auspicious cloud. However, Li Lingtian managed to absorb the auspicious cloud in just 4 days after unleashing his heaven-defying technique. So, with the final sound of the wind, the last trace of auspicious cloud disappeared and was completely absorbed by Li Lingtian. After absorbing the auspicious cloud, Li Lingtian opened his eyes with a glint in them. His aura and temperament had already reached another level. A martial saint was a true martial saint powerhouse. Even if he had not refined the auspicious cloud, Li Lingshan's cultivation base and aura had already reached the level of a martial saint. If he could refine the auspicious cloud and stabilize the realm he had comprehended, the martial sage realm would also be stabilized. At that time, the divine martial continent would truly be heaven-defying. Grade 8 Spirit Concentration Pill, Peerless Grade, Mutation. I hereby announce the success of the Grade 8 Spirit Concentration Pill. Li Lingshan's divine consciousness stirred and a jade bottle appeared before him. It hovered in the air and with a wave of his hand, the jade bottle flew into the distance. The jade bottle left the imperial palace and hovered above Liberty Sacred City's plaza. After doing this, his body flashed and quickly flew towards the palace. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the palace. By the time all the powerhouses had reacted, Li Lingtian had already disappeared. Chapter 765, Martial Sage Realm, 1. The jade bottle floated in the center of the Plaza of Liberty Sacred City. At this moment, more than 10 figures flashed and arrived at the square. More than 10 figures, all of them were spirit alchemists. At the same time, countless other martial saint super experts also came to the square. One of the spirit alchemists had an excited look in his eyes. He reached out and grabbed the jade bottle. With the jade bottle in his hand, the alchemist's hands began to tremble. This was because this was the moment to witness the birth of a level 8 saint alchemist. It was also the medicinal pill for a level 8 saint alchemist to vindicate their Tao. It was also a milestone in alchemy. Brother Yang Ming, let's have a look. The other alchemists looked at Yang Ming holding the jade bottle and trembling. They did not laugh at Yang Ming. After all, this pill was very important. If it were them, they would definitely not be much better than Yang Ming. All right. Yang Ming nodded and carefully opened the jade bottle. Ding! With a crisp sound, the jade bottle was opened. Immediately, a fragrance wafted out. The fragrance was very faint, but it reached the noses of most martial artists. The fragrance made countless expert spirits rise. It was as if they had entered a world of spiritual energy. Moreover, this fragrance carried a mysterious aura that even the martial saint experts present did not understand. Yes, this medicinal fragrance is not something we can compare to. Indeed, only a saint alchemist can refine it. When the two spirit alchemists smelled the medicinal fragrance, their faces revealed an excited expression. Their expressions were intoxicated, as if they were tasting a pot of fragrant tea. While the two spirit alchemists were intoxicated, the pills had already flown out of the jade bottle. The pill floated in the air and spun continuously. Waves of spirituality were emitted, and it looked like a lively child. Instantly, all the experts were stunned, their eyes filled with excitement. Grade 8 Spirit Concentration Pill. It really is a Tier 8 spirit concentration pill. Yes, the quality of a peerless product. There are no impurities at all. There are traces of spirit patterns on it. Although it's sealed, this medicinal pill is definitely an 8th grade spirit concentration pill. Moreover, its quality is top grade and it's a mutated existence. A peerless grade 8 spirit concentration pill is unique in the divine martial continent. To be able to concoct an 8th grade elixir is already extremely rare in the divine martial continent. That's right. Only Sir Ling Tian can refine a peerless grade medicinal pill. The chance of a mutated medicinal pill is also 1 in 10,000. There's no one else in the divine martial continent who can refine such a peerless spirit concentration pill. All of a sudden, all the spirit alchemists began to discuss. Following that, all the powerhouses went through the pills one by one. Even though Li Ling Tian was the one who took out the pills, he did not say who he was going to give them to. He would have to return them to them later. But even if it wasn't theirs, being able to appreciate such a heaven-defying medicinal pill was still a kind of honor. Looking at the grade 8 congealing spirit pill, all the experts were shocked. This pill would become a miracle in the divine martial continent. Even the martial saints and martial gods in the divine martial continent only used level 6 and level 7 pills. Li Ling Tian was the only one who had ever refined a peerless pill. Furthermore, the pills refined by Li Ling Tian were the best and most miraculous. The Tier 8 spirit concentration pill was the best among the Tier 8 pills. The best grade 8 medicinal pill was a peerless grade and a variation. What other medicinal pill could compare to such a medicinal pill? Moreover, there were no 9th grade pills in the divine martial continent. 8th grade pills were the best. Now that Li Lingshan's elixir had appeared, it was the best elixir in the divine martial continent. Li Ling Tian was also the most powerful divine alchemist in the divine martial continent, a level 8 super divine alchemist. Everyone knew that Li Lingshan's alchemy Dao was heaven-defying, but now that they had witnessed it with their own eyes and witnessed Li Ling Tian actualizing his Dao, nothing could be more exciting. Cheers immediately erupted in the square. The existence of a saint alchemist was the pride of an empire. There were only 3 saint alchemists in the 3 empires, 36 kingdoms, 3,000 countries, and 100,000 commanderies in the Xianzhou continent. Moreover, there were 2 level 7 saint alchemists and 1 level 8 saint alchemist. Li Ling Tian was now the 4th holy alchemist in Xianzhou. However, he was the most powerful saint alchemist in the entire divine martial continent, a level 8 super saint alchemist. This position was unparalleled and supreme. An empire without its own saint alchemist would not have a stable position. In the Carefree Empire, the most powerful super saint alchemist had appeared. Such an innate condition was enough to make countless experts and citizens feel excited and feel that their future was limitless. The birth of a saint alchemist was a national celebration. Although they did not dare to disturb Li Ling Tian as he was in the midst of his breakthrough, they knew that once Li Ling Tian came out of seclusion, the Carefree dynasty would invite all the powerhouses in the world to hold a grand ceremony. While Li Ling Tian was cultivating and breaking through in the imperial palace, the news of the incident in Liberty Sacred City and Liberty Dynasty spread throughout the world. In just a few days, the news had spread throughout the Mystic Moon Empire. Li Ling Tian of Freedom King Dynasty was on the verge of breaking through to become a level 8 super divine alchemist. He had refined a peerless grade mutated spirit concentration pill and was now a level 8 divine alchemist. This news shook the world, causing all the experts in the world to feel shocked. Some kingdoms felt worried, while some experts felt excited. In the Mystic Moon Empire, Tier 8 spirit concentration pills, peerless pills, mutated pills, Li Ling Tian, super divine pill refiner, the #1 divine pill refiner in the divine martial continent were the hottest topics. However, this powerful behind-the-scenes figure was cultivating and breaking through in the imperial palace. Li Lingtian was in the practice room while Xianyuan Yingying sat cross-legged opposite him. Huangfu Yuyan and the others were also surrounding Li Lingtian. Xianyuan Yingying and Li Lingtian continued to cast mysterious spells to quickly refine the auspicious clouds in their bodies. Tang Qingyue and the rest used their true essence to stabilize Li Lingshan's realm. After the dual cultivation, Li Lingtian and the rest could help each other stabilize their realms. Now, Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying had just broken through to the martial sage realm. Their strength had reached a terrifying level. Even they themselves did not know how powerful they were. Huangfu Yuyan and the others were responsible for helping Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying stabilize their realms while Li Lingtian quickly refined the auspicious cloud. This way, Li Lingtian could stabilize his realm and adapt to his cultivation base. As his realm slowly stabilized, Li Lingtian slowly adapted to the powerful strength and mystical power that came with his breakthrough. In his dantian, the five-colored golden core was even more powerful, and there were traces of divine qi on the golden core. Li Lingtian understood that the divine qi in the coagulate spirit pill and some of the mystical properties in the auspicious cloud had already been transferred to the golden elixir. Every time the golden core rotated, the true essence would rise into a monstrous wave. Moreover, his dantian was much stronger than before. This dantian was like an endless sea. The terrifying quality of the true essence had reached an unimaginable level. Li Lingtian continued to refine the auspicious cloud, turning it into true essence and entering his dantian. After the fusion of the two types of quintessential essence, the original quintessential essence in his dantian became even more magical. Boom! 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 There was a series of explosions in his dantian. However, the explosions did not cause Li Lingtian any pain because the quintessential essence in his dantian was not behaving abnormally. Instead, it was operating normally. Li Lingshan's lips curled into a smile as he looked at the terrifyingly powerful true essence. The martial sage realm. I've finally waited for this day. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and spoke calmly. 10 days had passed. They had already been in the training room for 10 days. After 10 days, Li Lingshan's state was finally stabilized. Other than some auspicious clouds that had not been completely refined, his state was basically stabilized. This was the combined might of Huangfu Yuyan and the others. After the 5 elements were balanced, the speed and benefits of stabilizing the realm far exceeded the imagination of the experts. According to the other powerhouses' breakthroughs, they would not be able to stabilize their state without half a year's time. However, Li Lingtian had stabilized his state in less than half a month. Moreover, he had already controlled the true essence in his body. However, he still needed to slowly adapt to his realm. Some treasures and skills were no longer useful. At the same time, he also needed to comprehend the divine arts of a martial saint. These things could not be completed in a short period of time. Now, as long as he controlled the basic realm and true essence, he could fight with other experts. Congratulations, Big Brother Lingtian. Tang Zimeng and the rest stopped in their tracks and congratulated Li Lingtian. Congratulations, Sister Yingying, for successfully reaching the martial sage realm. Congratulations, Lingtian. Congratulations, Yingying. Immediately, the girls congratulated Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying. The two of them had reached the martial sage realm and had a lifespan of 1,000 years. Moreover, their cultivation had soared to a terrifying level. With Li Lingtian and Xianyuan Yingying working together, they would be able to escape easily if they were to encounter a martial god powerhouse again. That would be much safer for them. In the past, no matter how heaven-defying Li Lingtian was, he was only a martial emperor powerhouse. He could still rely on some treasures and tricks to deal with a martial saint. If he were to encounter a martial god powerhouse, he would only be waiting for death. Things were different now. Li Lingshan's advancement in realm was not restricted by any realm. A martial saint powerhouse was no longer a threat to him. Li Lingtian had a deep understanding of the limitations of the realm. Now that he had finally reached the martial saint realm, his future power was self-evident. There were not many martial saints who were his match. Your cultivations have improved very quickly as well. You've already reached the third heaven of the martial emperor realm. Qingling has already reached the peak of the fourth level of the martial emperor realm. When you guys join forces, even a martial saint might not be able to resist her. Li Lingtian smiled as he looked at Huangfu Yuyan and the others. In front of his woman, he would never hide anything. This time, Xianyuan Yingying had broken through as well. Huangfu Yuyan and the others had the most benefits. Not only did they advance from a revered martial artist to a martial supreme, but they also advanced to the third level of the martial supreme realm. With such a realm, if they were to join forces, an ordinary martial saint would simply be courting death. All of a sudden, smiles appeared on their faces. Now that they had a greater guarantee, they were naturally incomparably happy. Chapter 766, Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch, 1. After becoming a martial saint, my cultivation and strength have improved in all aspects. Now, even if I encounter a ninth firmament martial saint, I have nothing to fear. Li Lingtian could feel the immense true essence in his body and his sense of the world. The corners of his mouth curled into a smile as he spoke calmly. Now that he was a martial saint, he could sense heaven and earth even more clearly. He could also fully unleash the 5 elements will of the way and the 5 elements sacred body. The 9 heaven stars was a saint-tier mighty figures technique. In the past, it had been limited by the realm. Now that he had broken through this realm limit, he could unleash it to the extreme. Li Lingtian relied on his own heaven-defying abilities to cast the other divine powers. It was somewhat awkward for him to cast them casually. Now that he had reached the martial saint realm, he could use all the divine powers that he could barely use in the past. He could basically use them at will. Yes, your realm limits your cultivation and your divine arts. Now that I've reached the martial sage realm, I just need to evolve some of my previous divine abilities and I'll be able to reach the transcendent state. Once a divine power reaches the transcendent state, it will be able to compete with a saint-tier divine power. When Huangfu Yuyan saw the smile on Li Lingshan's face, she laughed along with him. They had been anticipating Li Lingshan's heaven-defying achievements. Li Lingtian had been heaven-defying enough over the years. However, his realm had never increased. Now that his realm had increased, everything was going smoothly. He no longer had to be restrained. Now, Li Lingtian was a true ultimate powerhouse. Big brother Lingtian has reached the martial saint realm, so he can cast some divine abilities that he couldn't cast before. Moreover, many of the treasures and divine abilities won't be of use anymore. Brother Lingtian will have to give up on many of the divine abilities and treasures. Tang Ximeng's lips curled into a sweet smile. She was the same age as Li Lingtian, but she still looked like she was only 16 or 17 years old. She was always mischievous and adorable. That's right. I've already reached the martial saint realm. Warriors below the martial saint realm are no longer my opponents. My opponents are top-notch martial saints and martial gods. Therefore, there's no need to use some low-level cultivation techniques and skills at all. Fighting with a super martial saint and martial god is usually done with divine skills or almighty skills. If you play any tricks, you're just courting death. During this period of time, there must be a lot of things. We still have to deal with them. After we deal with these things, we have to properly organize some divine powers and skills so that we don't know what divine powers to use in the battle. Li Lingtian said earnestly. He agreed with the girl's words. After all, his cultivation and strength were there for all to see. There was no need for him to make a move against experts below the martial saint realm. Moreover, he would not personally make a move against a ninth heavenly layer martial saint. All these things had to be done by the people below. What he wanted to do was the final battle. The experts he faced were naturally the super monstrous martial saints or martial gods. He was the only one who could deal with these people. However, if he wanted to deal with them, he would have to use a heaven-defying saint-tier divine power. Therefore, he had to reorganize himself and plan out the divine arts and treasures he cultivated. Moreover, he had just broken through. There would definitely be countless experts and kingdoms looking for trouble with him. Others did not know that he had already stabilized his realm, so they would all come to die. We need to stabilize our cultivation base as well so that we can work together with Ling Tian. Tang Qingyue understood Li Lingshan's meaning. They did not need to go out now as they were waiting for the powerhouses who came looking for trouble to die. During this period of time, he could stabilize his realm and increase his cultivation. They had all crossed a major realm, so they naturally had to adapt to this terrifying increase and the gap between their realms. Following that, Li Lingtian and the rest began their own cultivation. Li Lingtian was cultivating alone while Tang Qingyue and the others were cultivating together. Since they were going to work together, they had to cultivate together often so that they could have a better rapport. After attaining the rank of martial saint, Li Lingtian had a general understanding of his cultivation base. The breakthrough this time was not only an increase in realm, but the true essence in his Dantian was also more than 10 times more than before. The power of true essence was completely different from heaven and earth. There was no way to compare. His entire person had sublimated and reached a level where he had returned to his original state. His powerful aura and pressure were all hidden. If he did not make a move, he would not be treated as an expert at all. However, although his realm had increased, he still had to adapt to it. He had to sort out some treasures and divine powers. Otherwise, when he encountered a super expert, he would not even know what treasures and skills to use. Currently, his most commonly used treasures were the 3 heavenly swords, the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber. He only used the heaven-destroying sword formation and the Tyrant Saber art. At other times, he used the 9 heavens of ice and fire. The will of the 5 elements and the 9 stars in the sky were heaven-defying methods. There was no control over the wind thunder god slaying Slash, and the heavenly demon Zither was rarely used. Heavenly monarch Crimson Light had used it once. There were many treasures, but not many of them were useful. However, after reaching his realm, most of the divine power skills were used. There were many divine power skills that he had not used in the past because their power was somewhat different from his cultivation. He thought that the same powerful method was enough. However, now that he was a martial saint, he couldn't give up on the trump cards and treasures he had used before. Instead, he had to use Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch, Wind Thunder God Extermination Slash, and Heavenly Demon Zither to their fullest. With a plan and arrangements in mind, Li Lingtian cultivated in peace. Right now, the main thing he needed to do was to stabilize his cultivation base and adapt to his cultivation base while comprehending and refining Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. He already had quite a number of trump cards now, but all the powerhouses who had reached the martial saint realm did not have talent and heaven-defying trump cards. If he wanted to defeat these experts, he had to be even stronger than them. Time passed day by day. Li Lingshan's state was also becoming more and more stable. Furthermore, the auspicious clouds in his body had been completely refined, and his entire aura had increased. His cultivation was also steadily increasing. Although he had a Tier 8 pill in his hands now, he did not want to use it now. After all, refining a pill required a very long time. He couldn't use 8th grade medicinal pills, but he could use 6th grade and 7th grade medicinal pills every day. The power of peerless 6th grade and 7th grade medicinal pills was also incomparably powerful. On this day, Li Lingtian summoned Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch after he had finished his cultivation. Although Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch had not been refined, he could still use it forcefully. The last time he used Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch, he had suffered heavy injuries. Furthermore, he missed Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch's power and speed. The power and speed of that attack were twice as powerful as usual. He could kill a 9th Firmament Martial Saint when he was still a Martial Monarch Realm expert with twice the attack and twice the speed. If he were to control Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light now, who knew how powerful he would be? Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. It's an existence at the level of a netherworld treasure. It's an ancient divine artifact. After mastering it, you can unleash twice the attack and speed of a martial artist. After reaching the great success stage, you can unleash 4 times the attack and speed. When you reach the limit, you can unleash 8 times the power. When you reach the transcendent state, you can unleash 16 times the power. Li Lingtian looked at Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. Although he had yet to refine the magical and domineering weapon, he was able to communicate with Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light a little. Naturally, he knew about Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light's might. Just thinking about this power made his blood boil. If his power was doubled, who knew how powerful it would be? The last time he had forcefully used it, it was twice as powerful and twice as fast. However, under that kind of forceful situation, it could not truly reach a heaven-defying level. Li Lingtian was able to quickly control most treasures and divine powers. After pondering for a moment, he moved his divine sense and began to refine it. Although this Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch was a treasure of the netherworld, it was the same when it was refined. It was not the first time he refined a treasure. It was a common occurrence for Li Lingtian. Blood refinement was his most commonly used sacrificial refinement method. After refining it for half an hour, Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light refined it and could store it in his dantian. However, he could not keep it in his dantian now. He had to control it. When he met a strong person, it would still be his trump card. If he did not use it after refining it, it would be a waste of energy and time. Naturally, he would not do such a thing. Eye of the Divine Soul. With a soft cry, an exquisite lotus-shaped rune appeared between Li Lingtian's brows. The rune was flashing with a blood-red glow. The blood-red light shone on Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. Instantly, Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light and Li Lingtian's divine consciousness connected. It was the most suitable way to nourish the ancient divine artifact with his consciousness. The few treasures he had in the past were also divine artifacts. They had even surpassed divine artifacts and reached the power of ancient divine artifacts. The Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber was also an ancient divine weapon. It was just that he did not know about it before. However, he was already refining it at that time. After a long time, he got used to it. Now, if he wanted to refine Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light in a short period of time, he would have to use the most powerful method, which was to use his consciousness to refine it. His consciousness was slowly connecting with Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light, and they were getting familiar with each other. Li Lingtian's face turned pale. Even though he had reached the first sky of the Martial Saint Realm and his divine consciousness was stronger than the 9th sky of the Martial Saint Realm, it was still a little unbearable for him to use his divine consciousness to refine treasures. Clang! Half an hour later, a crisp sound came from above Heavenly Monarch Qi Ming. His consciousness separated from Heavenly Monarch Qi Ming. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch hovered in front of him and slowly spun. Li Lingtian retracted his divine consciousness and looked at the Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch indifferently. Now, Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch had already been refined and could be used. However, it was only at the initial stage now. Its power could reach twice the original attack. However, if he wanted to use Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light, he would have to expend all his quintessential essence. Therefore, Li Lingtian did not dare to use Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch casually. He could only use Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch as his final trump card. I recommend the new book, Ancient Sage Myriad Ancient King. I welcome everyone to read and save it. I also want to vote for it. The new book needs everyone's support. Only with everyone's support can the new book go further. Chapter 767, Qing Qing's Target. 1. He could imagine how powerful it would be if he, a martial sage, used all of his quintessential essence to attack Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light's attack would be doubled. Li Lingtian felt an inexplicable sense of shock as he looked at Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light. Heavenly Monarch Crimson Light refined it. With his current cultivation in Heavenly Monarch Crimson Lights, it was a pretty good trump card. Next, Li Lingtian took out the Divine Martial Profound Heaven Sword and the God-destroying Tempest Slash to refine. The Divine Martial Profound Heaven Sword was easy to refine since Li Lingtian already had divine disasters in his body. With his current cultivation base, he could easily refine the Divine Martial Profound Heaven Sword. However, it wasn't that simple to truly unleash its power. This was because the Divine Martial Profound Heaven Sword was a peerless ancient divine weapon. The power of an ancient divine weapon was simply not something that ordinary experts could imagine. In the Divine Martial Continent, it was already impressive to have a Supreme Saint weapon, let alone a divine weapon. Each weapon was divided into 4 grades: low grade, middle grade, high grade, and peerless. The treasures that Li Lingtian was currently using were basically divine artifacts. The Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch was a supreme primordial divine artifact, while the Divine Martial Black Heaven Sword was a supreme primordial divine artifact. Even the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber was an ancient divine weapon, a peerless existence. It was just that his current cultivation base could not fully unleash the power of the supreme grade primordial divine weapon. He could only unleash it to the extent of a supreme grade divine weapon. Even so, countless experts would have to suffer in front of his divine weapon. Even the Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch that he had refined earlier was a peerless ancient divine artifact. If he could unleash the power of Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch to the perfection of martial arts, he would be able to achieve 16 times the attack and speed. This was only when Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch controlled the low grade. When he reached the middle grade, it would be 32 times, when he reached the high grade, it would be 64 times, and when he reached the peerless grade, it would be 128 times. However, how could it be so easy to unleash the might of Crimson Light Heavenly Monarch to the pinnacle state? In the past, he had only known that treasures were divided into 4 grades: low, middle, and high. He also knew that skills and divine arts were divided into 4 grades: low, middle, and high. However, he only understood now. True treasures and divine powers were not so simple after reaching the heaven-grade divine power and divine weapon level. Moreover, it was simply impossible to reach the limit of each of them. At present, Li Lingtian had countless treasures and divine powers in his hands. Even the divine powers of a saint-level almighty had yet to reach the perfection state. After his cultivation reached the martial saint realm, he did not need any other treasures or divine powers at all. He only needed to completely control the divine powers and divine weapons. A martial saint's control over divine powers and treasures, as well as the 5 elements of heaven and earth, as well as the will of the great path and true essence, could affect the outcome of the battle. He had successfully refined the Divine Martial Black Heaven Sword, but he didn't dare to use it for the time being because the Divine Martial Heaven Selecting Sword was too domineering. The Tempest God-slaying Slash had not been refined all this while, and it was still not refined until now. The more Li Lingtian was unable to refine it, the more curious he became. However, there was no way he could understand the Tempest God-slaying Slash if he could not refine it. All sorts of methods had been exhausted, but there was still no way to refine it. Seeing this, Li Lingtian had no choice but to put away the god-destroying Tempest and hand it over to Longda for safekeeping. What luck! Li Lingtian stopped cultivating and recalled the treasure he had just refined and the warrior sage he had killed before. He felt wronged. That was because those martial saints did not have many treasures, but they had a fine control over each treasure and divine power. If he was facing an opponent of the same level, he would definitely be able to defeat his opponent with his control of treasures and divine powers. However, he had completely lost his chance in front of a freak like Li Lingtian. This was because they were using heaven-rank superpowers. When they encountered Li Lingtian, they were facing a top-notch heaven-rank superpower or even a saint-rank Almighty's technique. By the time they unleashed the Supreme Saint weapon, Li Lingtian had already unleashed a divine weapon, a supreme divine weapon at that. In such a situation, he could only blame himself for his bad luck no matter how much control he had. Li Lingtian sighed in his heart at the thought of this. Heroes were born in the times. Every era had its own character. Others would only be unlucky if they met his era. Now, he could not completely rely on the advantages of treasures and divine powers. He had to control these treasures and divine powers to the peak and control them to the perfection of martial arts. At the very least, he could defeat his opponent in the same realm and cultivation. In that case, he could use even more heaven-defying divine powers and treasures to kill even stronger experts. After a day, he had already refined the divine martial black heavenly sword and crimson light heavenly monarch. Such an achievement was already enough. Even if he could not refine the wind thunder god slaying slash, he did not have much hope. Following that, Li Lingtian slowly gave up on the other divine powers and treasures and focused on the most important ones. He spent half of his time cultivating and the other half accompanying Tang Qingyue and the others. Qing Qing was 7 years old now. Although she was only 7 years old, her cultivation had already reached rank 3 martial king. This achievement was unprecedented in the divine martial continent. Even Li Lingtian, who was so heaven-defying, took more than a year to reach the warrior king realm. He didn't expect Qing Qing to reach it in just a year without using any pills. If she were to wait until she reached the martial ancestor and martial honored realm before using the pills to cultivate, she would definitely be a true prodigy of the divine martial continent. Imperial Uncle. When Xianyuan Qingqing saw Li Lingtian coming out, she was instantly elated and quickly ran toward him. She threw herself into Li Lingshan's arms and wrapped her arms around Li Lingshan's neck in an extremely affectionate manner. When the ethereal qi from his body entered Li Lingshan's nose, he was immediately jolted and a faint smile appeared on his face. My Qingqing's empty spirit body is getting better and better. Li Lingtian said happily as he hugged Qing Qing. As he spoke, he walked towards the garden in the palace. The palace of the Xiaoyao dynasty was exactly the same as before, except for a slight change in the middle. The spirit qi was extremely dense. In addition to the immortal spirit qi in the palace after Li Lingshan's breakthrough, the entire palace had become the place with the densest spirit qi in the Carefree dynasty. Moreover, even in the entire Mystic Moon Empire, there might not be a better place than here. This place was a paradise, a fairyland. When Tang Qingyue and the others were not cultivating in seclusion, they would play in this place. They were not worried about being disturbed because this place was a forbidden area of the imperial palace. There were only them, some maids, and palace maids within a radius of several hundred miles. Li Lingtian brought Qing Qing to the garden. When he saw Huangfu Yuyan and the rest were still cultivating, he sat in a pavilion and waited. In the pavilion, Li Lingtian listened to Xianyuan Qingqing's incessant chatter. He was already in his 20s, but he did not have any children of his own. Naturally, he yearned for a junior. However, he understood that his current strength had not reached a level where he could control his own fate. He could not have children yet. He would wait until the day he truly settled down before he had children. What are you guys talking about? After a while, Tang Zimen walked over. She asked curiously when she saw Qing Qing and Li Lingshan's happy faces. With a sweet smile on her face, she came to Li Lingshan's side and leaned against him. Her eyelashes fluttered as she looked at Qing Qing mischievously. Aunt Meng Meng, I've told Imperial Uncle that I want to become the youngest martial god in the Divine Martial Continent. By then, the entire Divine Martial Continent will have to listen to me. Xianyuan Qingqing said happily. To her, Tang Zimeng was her aunt, but the two of them were the best to play together. After all, Tang Zimeng was born with a lively personality. She was only 16 or 17 years old now, and she was as beautiful as a goddess. The relationship between the two of them was naturally the best. Other than Li Lingtian, she liked Tang Zimeng the most. Wow, if you want to become the youngest war god, then you have to work hard. Otherwise, your imperial uncle would have become the youngest war god. Tang Zimeng was stunned for a moment before she smiled. She reached out and pinched Xianyuan Qingqing's little face affectionately. Even the youngest war god had this possibility. After all, Li Lingtian was already 24 or 25 years old and had just broken through to the martial sage realm. It would not be easy for him to reach the martial god realm. Even if Li Lingtian was heaven-defying, he had too many things to do. Hence, it would inevitably affect his cultivation. Fighting for the world and its resources would naturally affect his cultivation. This was a cruel competition. If they could not compete, they would die. Even if they did not die, they would not be able to achieve much. Qing was different. She was only 7 years old, but she had already reached rank 3 martial king. Moreover, she cultivated without worries. With abundant resources and the heaven-defying empty spirit body, her cultivation realm rose sharply. When the time came, it was not impossible for her to become the youngest martial god. Of course, perhaps when Imperial Uncle and Aunt Ying become martial gods, Qingqing will also become a martial god. Imperial Uncle, let's see who will become the war god first. Xianyuan Qingqing nodded. She was only a martial king now. There were still heaven-defying realms like martial ancestor, martial honor, martial emperor, and martial saint. Wanting to break through these realms was easier said than done. Besides, Li Lingtian was already a martial saint now. As long as he worked hard, it would not take long for him to reach the 9th firmament martial saint. It was unbelievable that she was now compared to Li Lingtian. Your ambition is not bad, but you can't aim too high. If you want to become the youngest martial god, Imperial Uncle will naturally encourage you. However, if you want to surpass Imperial Uncle, that will be impossible. Because Imperial Uncle wants to scout ahead. This way, you can avoid detours. Besides, once your realm is high, you won't have any battle experience. That's useless. When you're older, Imperial Uncle will let you go alone to train for a period of time. Li Lingtian was stunned when he heard Xianyuan Qingqing's words. Even though Xianyuan Qingqing was talented, her way of thinking was a little too ambitious. She was also trying to compare herself with Li Lingtian. If he didn't correct it, it would affect his future achievements. After all, she was a girl. If she suffered a loss, it would be too late. She had to change her view now. When he spoke, his expression was extremely serious. Being strict did not mean that he did not love her. The more he loved her, the more he wanted her not to go astray. Sensing Li Lingtian's seriousness, Xianyuan Qingqing understood that she had made a mistake. Chapter 768, 4 Great Kingdoms, 1, Imperial Uncle, Qingqing knows her mistake. She won't bite off more than she can chew in the future. 11 When Xianyuan Qingqing saw Li Lingtian's expression, she immediately realized that she had made a mistake. This was the first time she had seen Li Lingtian so serious. Naturally, she understood how much Li Lingtian loved her. Her Imperial Uncle was willing to take risks for her and face the world's experts. If he didn't love her, Imperial Uncle wouldn't have done these things. His current expression was definitely for her own good. Moreover, when he saw Tang Zimeng's expression was also very serious. Similarly, it was also the first time he saw Tang Zimeng so serious. If it was in the past, such a thing would never have happened. She was a very smart girl, so she naturally knew that her thoughts were wrong. Well, it's good that you know. Because in this world, it's not the realm that decides everything. It also requires countless experiences and a stable state of mind. Look at Imperial Uncle. Although he's only a martial supreme, he can kill a martial saint. Even a martial god can't kill me. This depends on the various methods and schemes, as well as the state of mind, opportunities, and experience. Li Lingtian could not say anything more when he saw that Xianyuan Qingqing had realized her mistake. When it came to a junior, he would dote on him when he needed to, and educate him when he needed to. He would definitely not spoil him. Spoiling was not love, it was harming others. Yes, Imperial Uncle is the most powerful person in the divine martial continent. Qing won't embarrass him. Xianyuan Qingqing nodded seriously. Even though she did not understand what Li Lingtian was saying, she knew that he was saying it for her own good. Otherwise, he would not have said it. As long as he did as his Imperial Uncle said, he would not make a mistake. Following that, Tang Qingyue and the rest finished their cultivation and came to Li Lingshan's side. All the girls gathered together. After they got together, it was naturally extremely lively. His cultivation had increased, his realm had broken through, and his strength had increased greatly. Naturally, he was in a good mood. However, they did not take a step out of the palace and waited inside. He would wait for those ignorant experts to come and die. At that time, he would have to properly check his cultivation. Li Lingtian had successfully attained Dao validation as a level 8 super divine alchemist in Liberty's sacred city and refined a peerless variant spirit concentration pill. After vindication as a level 8 saint alchemist, he attracted the heavenly tribulation and broke through to the martial saint realm. When breaking through, there was a heaven-defying sign. This news spread throughout the entire Mystic Moon Empire. The entire Mystic Moon Empire was shocked. Li Lingtian was already heaven-defying enough. Now that he was a martial saint, the heavenly tribulation he faced during his breakthrough was even more terrifying than the heavenly tribulation a martial god faced. These facts proved how terrifying Li Lingtian was. Level 8 Saint Alchemist, Peerless Grade Mutated Congealing Spirit Pill, Reincarnation Pill. These were all targets of envy for all experts. Li Lingtian had also become the target of the various kingdoms. Although he was heaven-defying, tyrannical, and extremely terrifying, he had just broken through. His cultivation realm was not stable, and his cultivation strength was at its weakest. During this half-year, Li Lingshan's cultivation base was weakened and it was the perfect time to kill him. If he missed this opportunity, he would never have another one. In the past, when Li Lingtian was a martial emperor, even a martial saint could not kill him. However, this was a rare opportunity. If Li Lingtian missed this opportunity and became a true martial saint powerhouse, it would be extremely difficult to kill him again. This time, Li Lingtian obtained the reincarnation pill and spirit concentration pill recipe from Yunfeng Villa. He'll be able to refine a grade 8 spirit concentration pill when he returns. Moreover, he used the congealing spirit pill to break through to the martial saint realm. In the past, it was already heaven-defying enough for him to become a martial saint. If he really became a martial saint, no one would be able to suppress him easily. Our kingdoms are already at the peak. Since you've come to the Southwind Kingdom, you must show your sincerity and deal with Li Lingtian together. We can't afford to delay. In the royal palace of the Southwind Kingdom, it was usually used only when the kingdom's powerful people were discussing important matters. However, on this day, there were more than 20 super experts gathered in the main hall of the kingdom. Moreover, each of them was in existence at the 8th or 9th heavenly layer of the martial saint realm. King Nanyufei looked at the 20 or so super experts below with a solemn expression. However, his eyes were filled with politeness and he did not dare to put on the airs of a king. The current Southwind Kingdom wasn't having an easy time. This was because the Southwind Kingdom was one of the kingdoms closest to the Carefree dynasty. The establishment of the Carefree dynasty and Li Lingshan's terror constantly threatened the Southwind Kingdom. When he saw that the Carefree dynasty did not move at all, he did not have much of a worry. After all, the empire would step forward to stop a war between kingdoms. Moreover, the overall strength of the Carefree Empire was on a completely different level compared to the Southwind Kingdom. It was believed that the Carefree dynasty would not start a war so easily. However, after witnessing Li Lingshan's tyrannical actions and the destruction of the great Shang Kingdom's Yunfeng villa, the Southwind Kingdom began to worry. Some time ago, Li Lingtian had proven his Dao as a level 8 saint alchemist and became a martial saint. He had become a major threat to the Southwind Kingdom and was gradually beginning to feel threatened. This time, when Li Lingshan's cultivation base was weakened due to his breakthrough, he wanted to seize the opportunity to kill Li Lingtian and destroy the Carefree dynasty. Therefore, Nan Yufei gathered the core powerhouses of the 4 great kingdoms nearby to discuss the matter of taking action against Li Lingtian from Freedom King dynasty. There was another problem. Nan Yufei saw that the other powerhouses were also trying to kill Li Lingtian and snatch the treasures, wealth and elixirs from him. He also wanted to get a share of the pills and wealth. Of the 4 kingdoms, the Southwind Kingdom, 100 Spirit Kingdom, Heaven's Roars Kingdom, and Epsilon Kingdom were the 4 kingdoms. The strength of the 4 great kingdoms was similar to that of the Great Shang Kingdom. However, when they saw how the Great Shang Kingdom had been reduced to such a miserable state by Li Lingtian, they felt a chill down their spine. Last time, Li Lingtian went through the 100 Spirit Kingdom to deal with the Great Shang Kingdom. He made his move in the 100 Spirit Kingdom, so entering and leaving the 100 Spirit Kingdom was like entering a deserted land. He's indeed too arrogant. This time, at the critical moment of his breakthrough, well, take advantage of this once-in-lifetime opportunity to wipe him out and wipe out the Carefree dynasty. Xiaofan, the representative of the 100 Spirit Kingdom, had a cold expression on his face, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. In his heart, however, he was extremely greedy. After all, Li Lingshan's wealth and pills were enough to make all the powerhouses in the divine martial continent jealous. If he could obtain this pill, he would have a chance of becoming a martial god. Who would let go of such benefits and such an opportunity? It was reasonable to say that the kingdom wanted to stop Li Lingshan's footsteps in the future. However, there were some lone itinerant cultivators who wanted to deal with Li Lingtian for the sake of the elixir. The temptation of pills and wealth was enough to make any expert reveal their greed. Brother Xia, you make it sound so simple. Although Li Lingshan's cultivation base is weak now, it's not that easy to eliminate the Carefree dynasty and Li Lingtian. You must know that the 3 legions of the Carefree dynasty, as well as the war god, are not to be underestimated. Furthermore, countless powerhouses have gone to Liberty Sacred City to kill Li Lingtian. There are even a few false martial gods who are rushing to Liberty's Sacred City. Even if we eliminate Li Lingtian and the Carefree Empire, we still have to face other powerhouses. The representative of the Yuheng Kingdom, Yu Jianzong, spoke indifferently, his expression filled with disdain. This time, the 4 kingdoms had joined forces to discuss how to deal with the Carefree Empire. It was inevitable that there would be some unhappiness between experts. Even if they did not fight, it was inevitable that they would mock and ridicule each other. Moreover, he didn't agree with what Xiaofan said. Both of you are right. This is also the biggest problem at hand. However, no matter what, as long as Li Lingtian is destroyed, we'll be considered to have won. We'll only feel a little regretful if we lose any other benefits. After all, Li Lingshan's existence is the greatest threat to our kingdom. The 3 legions are indeed powerful, and the war god is also terrifying. However, any of the 4 kingdoms can wipe out the Carefree dynasty. If each kingdom brings out a quarter of their forces, we can totally suppress the other powerhouses and the carefree dynasty. Naturally, there will be other powerhouses to deal with Li Lingtian. We just need to hold the line. Feng Yushuang, the representative of the Kingdom of Heaven's Roars, saw that the atmosphere between Xiao and Yu Qianzong was not good, so he quickly stood up and stopped them. If they could not make a decision now, it would be a huge problem for the four kingdoms. Brother Feng is right. Now that the four great kingdoms are close to the Carefree dynasty, if Li Lingtian of the Carefree dynasty really stabilizes his realm, the four great kingdoms will be doomed. Who among the four great kingdoms can resist Li Lingtian's tyranny? Therefore, focus on dealing with the Carefree dynasty and Li Lingtian this time. Try to put everything else aside for now. As for the benefits, after the free and unfettered dynasty is wiped out, the four kingdoms will distribute the wealth equally. However, this time, we must have the confidence to wipe out the free and unfettered dynasty. We can't underestimate the free and unfettered dynasty. Otherwise, we will be like sheep entering the tiger's mouth. The king of the Southwind Kingdom, Nanyufei, looked at the people below him who were talking non-stop, but it was of no use at all, so he spoke again. Hearing the king of the Southwind Kingdom speak, the representatives and experts of the other kingdoms fell silent. They began to discuss seriously. After discussing for half a day, they finally decided. Less than a month after Li Lingtian's breakthrough, the four great kingdoms made their move. The armies of the four kingdoms quickly pressed toward Liberty's sacred city. This time, the armies of the four kingdoms were the elites of the elites, the experts of the experts. Furthermore, the four kingdoms' army did not linger in the battle. Instead, they charged straight for Liberty's sacred city with Li Lingtian as their target. For a moment, the four kingdoms under the mystic Moon Empire were filled with smoke. The movements of the four kingdoms immediately attracted the attention of the other experts. The other kingdoms did not dare to fall behind. Although they did not send out an army, they secretly sent out supreme experts. They wanted to reap the benefits from it and obtain Li Lingtian's wealth and elixirs. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.